because I was a VIP tour guide, part of that our job was to be the RIP tour guide for the Halloween Horror Nights event.
Story
So
time with
hi
Crimson. Right. Story time with Crimson. Hello, guys. We're in pre-show right now.
everybody. And
Did you hit
so
record?
we used to do VIP tours for Halloween Horror Nights, which were called RIP tours. And so we would bring families through the haunted houses. We get to cut the lines and whatever. And I would just love the little kids that we would get. And you would get two types. So you would get the kids, and you would get your people, and you would meet them upstairs, and you would be like, "Hi, I'm your guy, blah blah blah. So let me tell you about the event. It's this and this and this, and like this is gonna happen, and this is gonna happen." And I would be directly talking to the children. I'd be like, "Is this okay?" And like half the time, it would be like, "Yeah, let's go." And the other half would be like, fuck no," for like these 8-year-olds. But the ones that loved it were really cool, and so I would go to the houses with them, and I would just watch their faces because we went to the houses every night, so like they didn't bother me at all. But they were it was really fun to see the little kids, and I would make sure that the scare actors, because we had relationships with all of them, because we were dressed in a specific way, we had certain things, so they would know when a tour guide was coming through. So I would just be like, "Yeah, behind me," and I would always make sure the kids are right behind me, and they would get them every time, and it would be like the perfect run. And I'd be like, "Ha, you think you're not scared, but wait until you go through with me, and then I'll make sure you're scared."
We had this one, story time
shit.
continued. We had this one father, he told our management, he's like, "Look, I'm bringing my kids in." You see, parents have to sign waivers because we don't advertise as kid friendly. Like, if you're going to come in under 18 years old, you have to sign a waiver. Parents have to be with you, all that jazz, because there's some fucked up stuff in our haunted house. It's awesome. And this guy comes in, he's like, "I want y'all to scare the shit out of my kids. They're 10 years old and younger." He's like, "I want them to just scared." And I'm like, fucked up, weird flex, but I'll do my job. You know, it is what it is. Signs the waivers, pays the fees, tour guides coming through. I do my job, scare the shit out of these kids. All of them. The youngest, the little girl, she started crying, and it broke my heart. So when the tour was done, we know the tour's over because we got a character with a chainsaw with no chain on it that chases people out the exit. Gets them every time. I broke character. I ran out there. She was bawling, and I took everything off. And I'm like, "Are you okay?" She goes, "Huh, I like you now." I'm like, my heart. I told her, I was like, "It's all fake. I'm sorry I scared you. Your daddy made me do it." And she's like, "Yeah, Daddy's a jerk."
Wow.
I mean, I'm not saying I would do something like that, but my daughter, when she gets scared, she'll go and then laugh about it.
No,
And
this
she can
child
even
was
take like
terrified,
throw things
bawling.
at her face.
Mhm.
But my daughter can take getting things thrown in her face and still laugh about it.
Yeah, I had this one family. So Halloween Horror Nights takes place in Universal Studios Florida, but there's two parks. There's Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure, but like the tours start and stop. Well, they start in USF, and theoretically, a lot of people like to stop them in USF because that's where their cars come to pick them up. So I'm like, Universal closes at 5. Halloween Horror Nights starts at 6. Tours go till 6. And so I'm like, so we're in IOA, and theoretically we can take the Hogwarts Express back to USF, so I can walk you to your car. Like, or we can walk out the front of IOA, and I can just walk you through City Walk, and it'll be fine. And I was like, and that one, right? And they're like, no, we want to take the Hogwarts Express both ways. And I was like, fuck my life. So I was like, okay, but like when we walk through USF, like it's gonna be horror nights. Like they start setting up at 5:30. Like it's gonna be like horror shit. It's gonna be out in the streets. Like the characters are gonna be out because like they open the gates whenever they finish setting up, which sometimes is as early as 5:30. And they're like, oh, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. And I'm like, okay. Little girls are like 5 and 8. So I'm like, so how was it? Okay. So anyway, so I was like, okay, so we're gonna go through this, and I'm just gonna let you know that there's gonna be scary shit. Oh, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. So we walk through, and like we get through most of the park, and it's okay. And then we get through like the front of the park, which is where like the most intense shit is, and like the scare actors do not attack children. So like they do not scare people because they're there. They're like, if you are stupid enough to bring your child to the Halloween Horror Nights, and we're gonna fucking scare your child. So I was like, okay, let me walk you on the sidewalk. Let me walk you like as through as much backstage as I can to make sure that you won't get there. But like the final stretch, like we had to walk on stage. And so I was like, oh, and there's all these people on stilts with like chainsaws and shit that were like coming after these little girls, and they were like holding my hands so tightly, and I'm like, it's okay, like it'll be fine, like they're all fake, like they're just actors, it's okay, we're almost there. I felt so bad for that, and I like literally looked at the parents and I was like, this is what I was telling you, and they're like, it's fine, it's beautiful. They're taking pictures, and I was like, fucking hell.
My boss, man, he didn't give a shit. He's like, they signed that paper, it's game on. I'm like, fuck, all right.
Yep. They're just like, oh, it's so cool. Look at these beautiful dresses. Look at these haunted people. Just like, yo, you're scaring your children, and you don't really give a shit. That's fine. No worries.
Right. That's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
I used to work in a couple of haunted houses, and we would get a running tally at the end of the night of who got somebody to piss themselves, who got somebody to puke, who got somebody to like run out, who got somebody to punch. Like, badges of honor.
I guess.
Yeah. Horror Nights is so particular because it's so very popular because it has so many people in it that it's a unique blend between scaring you and making you drop to the floor. So like, because the haunted houses have to basically have people and a capacity, and people going through so many people per hour have to go through the house. We can't have people stop. We can't have people run backwards. We can't have people like do anything. So particularly the art and design people that create the mazes scare forward. Yep. So they make sure that if they scare you, they come from behind. So they make you run away from them forward through the house further. And they're like, we have to have that fine line between making somebody scared and making somebody fall on the floor and collapse, because we can't have that, because if we do that, then the queue will stop and that will make our efficiency go down. And that's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's cool. It's an interesting psychology. The psychology of the scare and all of art and design. So it's fascinating. I love Horror Nights.
I love doing it every single year. I love my crew. I love everything about it. The customers, of course, I know you have. We got a Karen one time, right? So like I said, I made this perfectly clear on our Facebook page, website. We advertise it is not kid friendly. You know, you sign that paper, you bring your kids in, that's on you. You're the parent. This lady goes to our Facebook page. Your place is too scary for children. I brought my kids through there. They were having nightmares and crying. Blah, blah. Like, it's graphic. It's all this stuff. And we're like,
you signed the waiver, right?
Like, yeah, we know. Like, that's the point.
That's why we told you that.
It's just, it happens every year. We always get at least one. At least one. There's always that one person.
The Horror Nights tour that there are a few Horror Nights tours that I will never forget, but the one that really pisses me off is the one for the 25th anniversary of Halloween Horror Nights. And it was like, a big deal because it's the 25th anniversary. There are a lot of cool houses, and we get to go through them as a tour guide if you want. You don't have to, because there's some tour guides that are afraid. But if you want to, you can. And so my policy was always that I would go through them the first time. If they wanted to go through a second time or a third time, I'd be like, okay, y'all go.
The garage lights red.
I would tell you that you can go through by yourself, and I would be like, okay, then I'll meet you at the exit. But I at least got to go through the houses once every night. But there was my very last tour of Halloween Horror Nights 25. I got a family, and it was mom, dad, and 2 kids. And kids were like 8 and 10 or whatever. And I did my whole typical explaining. I was like, blah, 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 this is that, is that okay? And they're like, well, we're going to skip the show. And I was like, okay, but whatever. And they're like, and we're gonna do the rides because that's why we took this tour, because it's cheaper than a daytime tour. I was like, yes, but that's because only half the rides are open. And they're like, that's okay, we just want to do this and we just want to do that. And I was like, sure. So most of the night I spent doing the rides, and the parents were like, oh, we want to go through the haunted houses too. And I'm like, great. So I brought the kids through the first haunted house, the mildest
Sean, after dark.
Ooh, nice. The
He's getting early, guys.
Like,
let's set the mood.
You kids are going to be super scared. So I was like, let me bring you through the least scary one that I think we have. So I brought them through the least scary one, and they were bawling their eyes out by the time we left. So I was like, great. So we're going to go through every other house, and I'm just going to sit at the exit with these kids. And the parents are like, yeah, we want to do the Walking Dead house. Yeah, we want to do the Alien vs. Predator house. Yeah, we want to do this. And I was like, great. So now you drug your kids to this event, which they really don't like, on the auspices of doing rides, which like we did, but most of the rides aren't open anyway. And then you're going to sit there and just go through the haunted houses on your own while I sit and babysit your kids. Fun times.
Wow.
So now we know what Halloween Shadow Pack
I don't
Square's
have
topic
kids.
is
I
gonna
get paid
be.
to watch their kids.
What'd you say, Al?
Hey, we're just free balling right
I don't
now.
have kids, and you're not paying me to watch your kids, so I don't think so, Tim.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I'm not here to babysit, but okay. Fuck, Halloween Hornets is so rough. Those are the. I never got asked to drink more on the job than during Halloween Hornets. I come back from lunch break.
Halloween.
My guests are like, "Here, we got you shots," and I was like, I can't take these." They're like, "Why not?" Because I'm on the clock. Oh, well, you can take them anyway, right? No.
No.
Here,
You can take them.
The funniest ones are the potheads, though. Like, they get through the haunted house and they try to go up to, like, the staff, like, yo, you want a joint, bro? That was dope, man.
Yep.
Okay.
And I'm here in, like, 4 hours of makeup and cosmetics. I'm like, go away. I'm dying in here.
Like I can
The only
smell you.
Halloween event. the only Halloween event I've been to that's not at an actual pumpkin patch. My senior year of high school, one of our senior trips was going to Six Flags in New England during their Fright Nights. That was fun.
Yes, Fright Nights. I used to work there.
Yeah.
Fright Nights is like the lowest budget
fun.
Halloween Horror Nights.
I was up in Connecticut. So
Cheers.
you know, they're not gonna pay for us to go down to Florida.
Bro, this is my age showing, but Friday nights in high school, you know, that was the football nights. You know, of course, in a small town, everybody's at the high school for the football games and stuff. That's where you met up with your girl. And everybody's like, oh, go football. And I'm over here dating somebody, and we're doing our thing. And then you get caught by staff, and then you get, sent home. And
so you're basically saying you're a troublemaker, Bam. That's what you're saying. That's what you're saying.
No. What he's saying is that's nasty.
No, I'm saying that's Bamurai. I'm gonna start saying that. That's Bam Bam.
That's Bamurai. That's Bam Bam.
That's bad.
I kept my grades up. I might have been a slut, but my grades were up.
I might have been a slut.
Oh, that's his best words.
By the 13th Bamurai.
We only had one Friday night game. All of our games were on Saturday, so we had like the one Friday night game because our school is in such a neighborhood, and the neighborhood people were like, "Fuck no, we don't want your Friday night games with all of your lights and everything." So the agreement was once per season we were allowed to have a Friday night game.
Shit, not in a small town in North Carolina. Half the dads were drunk as shit and fighting in the parking lot. Right. We'd wait to see whose mugshot was on Facebook the next day. Wow. That's Mr. So-and-so.
Wow, that's fucked up.
Hey, South Park. I thought this was America.
That's exact, bro. I'm telling you. South Park came to a Friday night game in a small town in North Carolina and made that episode. No shit.
That was my first taste of Everclear, though, was homecoming sophomore year.
Hopefully that was your last taste of it, too.
I mean, I like Shine better, but that's just me.
For some reason, in my hometown, the go-to drink was Everclear. Like, not vodka, not gin.
People that are trying to kill themselves.
Right.
We would take Everclear and try to breathe fire, like whoever could.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that, right?
Like fireball. Yeah.
That. Remember, I'm square.
That was before the facial hair.
That's SeanFlac, instead of the original Avenger, I'm original Square Bear here. You know what I'm saying? Like, none of that.
Sean, we would have been friends in high school, and I would have tried to get you to like go to bonfires and shit.
Oh, we went to bonfires. We used to do like bonfires in the middle of the woods when I used to live in Reno.
Hey.
Dude, we had a bonfire my senior year after we graduated to burn all of our books and shit because that's what we decided to do.
Right. Come on now. Hopefully you look back and you regret that.
Rebel.
We just blew up shit
No.
with tannerite and drank shine.
Tannerite. Yes. Tannerite.
But
That's
we
the fuck
had
I'm
a
talking
Boy
about.
Scout, we had an Eagle Scout make our bonfire. We were super safe. We had fire extinguishers just in case.
Of course you did, Crimson.
We snuck Papa's gasoline and stole a shit ton of fucking wood pallets from Lowe's. We loaded up. We would go behind
Wow.
Lowe's with like 3 pickup trucks and just grab wood pallets and throw them in the trucks and take off.
Wow.
Yee-haw.
No, but we
Okay,
got the
I think
cops
we're a
called
little
on
too
us
off topic.
because
Well, we started off. We don't even know what we're doing
I
right now.
know.
we don't.
We're just free balling right now. There ain't nothing wrong with free balling.
Yeah. But we, in this bonfire that we had our post-senior year, we all went and we hung out and whatever, and we were super safe, but it's fine. But we stupidly did it in the park behind my development. So, like, because there are houses nearby, some person in one of the houses called the fire department because they were like, there's a fire in the park behind our house. And we didn't have a permit or any shit like that. So, like, we all had to go to court and, like, pay fines and shit.
What the fuck? No.
I did not know you were such a
So
delinquent.
I'm just saying.
You're a thug
in
over
the,
there.
somehow she got a job at.
Out in the
Somehow she
fields,
got a
when
job
we
as
heard
passenger.
sirens in the distance, we
versatile.
bailed. We were gone.
How was it?
You start hearing
Like a thief in the night, huh?
They just, like,
our
randomly
senior
showed
skip
up.
day.
That's that bullshit.
It wasn't right. That is that bullshit.
bullshit.
That wasn't random. They knew where they were going. You guys had a signal flare for them to follow.
pretty much.
I mean, like, they didn't, like,
Oh,
sirens or anything because I think they probably knew that they wanted to catch as many people as they could.
Oh
So
yeah,
they
The
just
fuck?
snuck
We
up
heard
on
the
us.
sirens, and bless his
That's-
heart,
that's hilarious.
my buddy was so gone, and he was a heavy fucker too. And at this time,
He
I was like
a heavy
100,
fucker.
160 pounds, dude. I was a little itty bitty bam bam. And so all 6 of us grab this big fucker, and the sirens are coming. We throw his big ass in the back of somebody's truck, and we tell him to go. We don't even know whose truck it was. We just threw him in the back, and we all took off.
So one, I guess, Stealth. Thank you for the subs.
All you see is his feet. His feet were kicking.
This is
They were
resubs,
sticking up out of the
notifications.
back of the truck as the truck was driving away, and his feet were in the back.
The funnest part about
That sounds
that
like some
story
old country back country shit.
That's that
The
North
funnest-
Carolina bullshit, baby.
The funnest part about that is that my parents never found out about the bonfire. I never told them. They never knew.
Well, they
I
know
checked the
now
mailbox.
Oh yeah.
because they watch you on this show.
I was gonna say, it's on record. That is
Right.
on record now. Welcome to Shadow Pack
The
Squares.
one,
Right.
the one time I did get cops called for a group of people. So our senior skip day, it was kind of disjointed. We didn't have a big ass plan for it and whatnot. So we ended up all like most of the senior class went to the park and we just cooked out for that day. You know, played basketball, played baseball, and whatnot, and just had a cookout for our senior skip day. Well, the cops called on us, and we offered them burgers.
Beautiful.
Did they accept?
Oh, we didn't get in trouble.
Oh, that's good.
Oh no, but we didn't get in trouble because it was a public park. It was the Beardsley Park. So
See,
it's just like, yeah, everyone can be here. We're just here for.
Like high school and all that, I never had issues. You know, the cops, like we would, do our, bonfires and our get-togethers and whatnot, but nobody got hurt. Nobody went to jail. Nothing like that. It was till those, certain individuals I went to high school with. One of them became a local cop, right? And I had a bike at the time. It was a 2007 Yamaha R6S. It was stretched, had a drag pipe, loud as shit bike. Well, this guy, he was a dick in high school and he was a dick when he was adult. So every time I drive that bike down Main Street in this little town, I get pulled for noise ordinance every single time. And finally I got tired of it. I was like, look, man, I ain't talking to you. Give me my ticket. Well, you know what you did. Yeah, we've been through this. Give me my ticket. And I got out of him every single
could-
time, but he still gave me my damn ticket. Like, you're too loud. I'm going to tow this bike. Well, tow it or give me my ticket. All right, give me my ticket. Bye. See you. I was
Should have gone to his
insured. I was
boss and
licensed.
said something.
I didn't give a fuck, dude. I always, like I said, I always got out of it every single time. And I'd just wave at him. I'd go by him on my bike every time. I'm like, hi, how are you? He's pulling out. Here we go. Hey, yep, here's my shit. You already know I'm insured and licensed. Give me my ticket. Bye. Oh, the
No,
old days.
give me a ticket.
We couldn't do our senior
No,
skip
no.
day because my AP Calc teacher was a douchebag, and she was like, "I'm gonna give a test on senior skip day, so if you skip it, then you'll fail the test."
Oh, that's
So-
fucked.
So all of us in AP Calc had
Art?
to go to class all day. Which
I
is
think-
annoying.
I think I was in trade that day, because when I was at school we switched. It was a VOTEC, so we switched between academics and trade. Learning what we're due for work. I think we were in trade, and our trade teacher was like, "Yeah, if I see any of you here, you don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see any of you."
That's what I loved about my trade teacher, because he had a mad crush on the dance and drama teacher, right? So during that period, we had a lookout because it was this trade class. Everybody got their dip in their cigarettes. That's how you know from the South. We slinging backer and smokes, and we'd go off try to spit game to the lovely lady teacher. And we'd be chiefing it down with a big old dip in our mouth or a cigarette or something, and we'd see. We'd have our lookout, and the signal was like a bird noise or some shit. Somebody would start squawking, and you just see everybody like with half water bottles. You put the cigarettes and the dip in the water bottles, and you seal it and throw it in the trash.
Yuck.
Oh my god.
Tell me you're from the South without telling me you're from the South. Everybody had that
You got
one
your dip
class.
bottle, and don't you dare take a drink out your dip bottle, because
Ugh, I never did dip. Dipping wasn't my thing. I smoked cigarettes, but that was no. I tried dip one time, and I was like, nope.
It's so
Not
gross.
for me.
Yeah, see,
Apparently,
Isn't that-
my
according
school
to
was mostly weed.
according to my sister and also to my stepdad, you don't do the same thing with the bong water either. You don't drink that.
no.
Ugh,
I have no idea what bong water would taste like, but it's gotta be disgusting.
that sounds horrible. I have never done it myself, but
Yeah.
I've seen people go through it.
Yeah, so my
See,
school was
people-
mostly weed.
Sip bong water?
Ugh.
Is that what you
Yeah.
said? Oh man. Oh. That's gotta
That's
be
terrifying.
nasty.
Speaking of
Apparently
nasty,
it's skunky.
what's the topic for the night, Stealth Dead?
Half hour into the
The
show.
Princess Bride.
No enthusiasm, none whatsoever.
You're the one who picked it, man.
This is
I know.
your topic.
Okay, but like let's
I
actually
gotta know
get
if we're recording or not.
Yeah, we are. Okay, so
Well,
let's like
We've
actually
been
start.
live.
Hello. Hi.
Hello.
Welcome. We are SeanFlac Squares. Welcome.
We are
We are
highly
both
respectable tonight as well.
Hello, we are professionals. We swear.
Yes, hi,
And
hello.
as
Hello.
you might know,
Honestly, this reminds me of a typical like morning talk show. Like, swear to God, just the random ass
Right.
banter. I love it. I absolutely love it. It is what it is.
I mean, we're talking also about one of the most random movies out there, Princess Bride, too. So it's kind of related to our topic.
Is the reason why I have this one song. Because they were like going off about it for like 15 minutes, and I was like, I need this fucking song.
So hi, hello, welcome to episode 3 of season 2 of SeanFlac Squares. We are the SeanFlac Squares. With me tonight, I have
What? You're pointing the other way on my screen. That's not
Number
me.
13.
Play.
You have to
Hi.
actually introduce and say what square you're in.
And
We gotta watch the
then
stream and figure out how we're gonna look.
No, I am. So that's Bamurai 13 this way. Did I do it right?
Yes.
Cool.
You're in.
Cool.
Yes.
And then to my other side, I have
Potions.
PotionsMaster.
Someone.
Potions.
PotionsMaster.
66.
What is she the
Uh,
master of again?
Master of
your
all things.
Love
mom.
potions, apparently.
Geography.
No, it's love
Damn.
potions.
You
As we were
Down
talking about
and
earlier.
to my left, I have Stealth Dad. Right below me,
Yep.
I have Elf Daddy, not to be confused with Stealth Dad. And then down to my right, I have SeanFlac 2.0. He will be in and out because he's dealing with some shit. So we are all part of Shadowpack Gaming. We are a stream team organization. We are all individual streamers. We all come together once a week for Shadowpack Squares, where we discuss old and new things and our opinions on them. So we have done all sorts of things from what am I going to say? Mortal Kombat to we're doing let's see, Jewel to Eminem to Tom and Jerry. So we've all done all sorts of things. You can find our old episodes up on our YouTube channel, which is YouTube/Shadowpack Gaming. And there you can find a couple of clips of different members of Shadowpack Gaming, as well as our old episodes of Shadowpack Squares, excuse me. You can find us here, of course, at twitch.tv/ShadowpackGaming without the G. We are on Twitter at twitter.shadowpackgaming without the G. You can find all of us except for Potions and Sean. We have individual intro videos, which you can find on shadowpackgaming.com, which is our website. All of these links will be in the chat and also posted below this video if you find us on YouTube. So those videos will tell us a little bit about, or tell you guys a little bit about who we are as individual gamers and streamers and content creators. Eventually, we will get Sean and we will get Potions to get those videos up. But
we've been
right now,
saying that for months.
For months and months and months, but eventually, I will make sure that happens.
Well, let
I
me
promise.
move into my new stream space first.
Right,
and then
exactly.
we will do it because then I will have a much better interview because one of the questions is show us your stream space and right now you're in
Oh,
it.
I didn't show them my stream space. I just told them that I use
We just tell them about it.
Greenlight and
What's
my
your stream space
PS4.
setup? No.
I've been
My living
waiting.
room.
Like, here's my excitement level, and every month. Never mind. Then they say, "Oh, we're gonna do it," and then it goes back down again because nothing happens. And then I'm like,
We'll get there. We'll get there. Maybe it'll be an anniversary gift for Shadowpack. I don't know.
"There you go."
Yeah.
Don't look at me in that tone of voice, Potions.
We'll do a live interview on Shadowpack Squares next time.
Tell you what,
Yeah,
I will do my
absolutely.
interview in my Batman onesie.
Do it.
Yes.
And your Cadence sweatshirt, although you don't have one, do you?
Huh?
You don't have a Cadence sweatshirt, do you?
I don't have a
He has the
Cadence
N7, I think.
I have my morality duality one though.
Oh, that one's
the
good.
half red,
You
half
should do
white.
that. You should Jekyll and Hyde your interview. Be like, sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm not.
Put the renegade scars on one side, be like
I love how her camera.
Sometimes I don't.
Her camera froze at the perfect split second, so she was in freeze frame rage mode. That was awesome.
It was
lovely. Well, right now I'm editing screen caps from the Legendary Edition, so
Nice.
Oh, boom.
So we are all part of Discord as well. So if y'all watching would like to interact with us on Discord in a crazy way possible, because we are all insane, but all in a good way, you can join the link that was just posted in chat. The Tavern, which is run by our very own Queen Lou, is our public Discord for Shadowpack Gaming. And so if you would like to interact with us and see some memes and just hang out and voice chat sometimes or play some games together, we can do that via the Tavern. So you can join that Discord channel. And finally, we have partnered with a new up-and-coming social media network for gamers and created by gamers called Gamerized. That link is also in the chat. If you decide to go pro on your Gamerized account, we get a little kickback from that. But otherwise, it's a really cool
Use our
site.
affiliate link.
Yes, use our affiliate link, which is in chat. So you, it's a really cool site. It's very user friendly. They have a really revamped recently over the weekend. They're hosting for music and videos. So if you haven't checked it out, I definitely would suggest doing so. It's Facebook but better. So I would definitely suggest looking at it and seeing what they're doing. They're heading it for a good time and in a good direction. And their mobile app will be coming soon, I hope, because I think their Kickstarter is fully funded. So that should be good to come.
You had me at good time.
Because the chat
Always
is
good
on
time.
my phone.
You had me at fully funded.
Yeah. It's always a good time when it involves Shadowpack Gaming, obviously.
Give me that money.
So I think that's all the business that we have so far. So like I said, we are Shadowpack Sphere as part of Shadowpack Gaming. And tonight's subject is Stealth Dads. Stealth Dad decided this week's topic, which is
Princess Bride. With our
It's a classic.
with a
Classic.
young Fred Savage.
yeah.
See, I'm going to be the odd one out. Like, Prince Humperdinck is my favorite character. Why? Because that actor
Humperdinck.
is the
Because he's
voice
Humperdinck.
of Jack Skellington. I am not worthy. I'm not
He's a
worthy. He's the voice actor for
He's
Jack
Jack
Skellington
Skellington's
in A
voice
Nightmare
actor.
Before Christmas.
Nice. Oh,
Ooh,
nice.
That makes me want to put on my onesie.
Love him. Love him so. Oh, I got my cup to celebrate.
I have like
I'm a
way too
tattoo.
many Skellington Jack pairs of socks, and yeah, I have a mug too, and I have a bunch of posters, and Nightmare Before Christmas is one of my favorites. And
Whatever. I was
Oh,
showing my cup.
yeah,
I'm Sally.
I got all sorts of clothes, a onesie, one of those little
Also have a bikini.
knick-knack things.
The
set
man
up.
is a legend. I
my
love that
tarot
actor so
cards.
much.
and then Danny Elfman actually did his singing, so that's
Did the
why I
singing?
quit
Yes.
with Jack Skellington.
Yes, love Danny Elfman also.
So
Amazing.
it's zero. All the Nightmare Before Christmas merch I have is zero related.
Zero.
Oh,
I love Zero.
love it. Love.
So, okay.
For my birthday.
So to start us off, Stealth, why did you pick The Princess Bride?
To force Sean to
We're
watch
talking
it.
about having a good time. That's that too. But we're talking about feel good movies, and it was for all that. And he mentioned, and SeanFlac mentioned he'd never seen the 1978 classic, The Princess Bride, as my daughter climbs from my arm. Reason why I'm Stealth Dad, people. I don't know if you could tell.
No.
But
no, not at all. No. Just Spider Child hanging and everything. Go Spider Child, go. Does whatever a Spider Child does.
But it was a good movie. So between my rewatches, this was my third time watching it. Yeah, my first time I watched it, I believe I was in the break room on Anderson Air Force Base, Guam, while we're waiting for jets and had nothing to do that day. Bam, what was your first time, or what's your first experience with this movie?
I found it randomly. It was playing on TV when I was a kid. It was like 1996 was the first time I saw the film. And yeah, I was just flipping through the channels. You know, we just had the standard like 25, 30 channels. And it was on like TBS or TNT, one of those. And I fell in love with it, man. I couldn't stop watching. Because, I mean, you had, pirates, you had, giants, you had everything. Even the six-fingered man, you couldn't stop I couldn't stop watching. And then I recognized the voice because I remember I had just recently, I loved Nightmare Before Christmas as a kid, and I heard the voice. I was like, oh, that's Jack. Love it, love it, love it. Great film. Oh,
Okay, PotionsMaster.
My first experience with watching it was actually at my friend Krista's birthday party in 5th grade. That was
wow.
Yeah, that was 95. And we were playing some kind of
I
like
was
pop the
6.
balloon game with it on in the background, and I kind of just I stopped playing the game and I just sat down and watched it because it was just the most weirdest movie I had seen at that point in time because it was
The
just
music
it
was
subverted
weird.
every single expectation I ever had, and it was just so funny. And I'm just like, this is my type of humor. I've never seen a movie with this type of humor. And then Krista was like, fuck yeah, that's why it's my favorite one ever. I'm just like fascinated by it. So yeah.
Chris Sarandon.
Elf Daddy.
It really did. It had an all-star cast too. Like,
Yeah, introducing Robin Wright.
For
I'm
its
kind
time,
of an
it did.
outlier. My roommate actually showed it to me about 10 years ago. And my mom's like, "You've never seen it? How did we not see this?" And then she told me the story of the time she met Andre the Giant and he rubbed her head. And I was like, that's badass.
a legend in himself besides the movie. Like, we can get into a whole episode on Andre.
Oh, hell yeah.
But I think at the end we're going to talk a lot about him anyway in general. Because that's just the way we are.
Oh, absolutely.
And in the CrimsonShieldScholar, what are your experiences?
So, I'm kind of
As
like Elf Daddy, actually. I did not see the film growing up. There are a lot of iconic films that I didn't see growing up just because my parents and I and my brother, my family, didn't have enough time to sit and watch movies. So there are a lot of things I didn't see. So I watched it first in college. I told my roommates that I had never seen The Princess Bride, and they were just like, "What the fuck? How have you never seen The Princess Bride?"
That's
So
like somebody saying they never saw Hocus Pocus. I mean, it's just like,
right.
what
So I
the fuck?
haven't seen Hocus. I didn't see Hocus Pocus until 5 years ago.
How are we
I
friends?
somehow have watched it. I've somehow watched it like almost every 2 years since like the first time I watched it, which was like, when did it come out?
Princess Bride or Hocus Pocus?
Hocus Pocus.
I was like,
Keep on topic with Princess
well,
Bride.
yeah, we'll stay on Princess Bride, but
I had
yeah.
never seen Hocus Pocus. I had never seen any of the Muppet movies. So when I told my friends that I had never seen like Muppet Treasure Island or Muppet Christmas Carol or anything, they were just like, "What the fuck?"
Remind me after this that I have ideas about Halloween and like the end of the year.
Oh, Halloween's gonna be a great series. Like the whole month of October, we're gonna knock this shit out of the park. It's gonna be so fun.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So
So
I first saw Princess Bride in sophomore year of college, so 2008.
Nice.
here we go. Thumbs up. And I got helper. So
I've still only seen it once through all the way. So
no.
I've seen bits and pieces.
So okay. It's one that if you come in at the wrong time, you'll lose what the plot is behind it.
Yeah.
I was saying, it's
And
all over the place.
you
Like
have
you
to watch the
legit
entire
have to
thing.
watch the film straight through because if you walk away for a few minutes, you're gonna miss something, and then you're gonna come back and you're gonna be like, "What the fuck is going on?" They're out the
Why is
whole
there a
film.
giant eel in the river?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I remember coming into it once watching with the bog with the giant rats, and I'm just like, "What the fuck is happening?"
And
Yeah.
what about the UROSs?
Oh my God.
That's
Like-
unusual size. I don't think they exist.
I don't know if that like made it, kind of fun because you could tell that the
They had
creatures
fun.
were fake. You could tell they were fake. I think that's what made it, especially as when I watched it as a kid, that's what made it a lot more fun because I loved the Muppets. I loved that whole 90s era of filming when they used costumes and there wasn't a lot of computer tech going on. For me personally, I thought it was fun because it showed like realism and like people were actually putting in effort other than doing a CGI screen. And Carrie Elways in that scene with that rat. As I watch it now as an adult, it's cheesy, it's corny, it's funny. But as a kid, I'm like, holy fuck, that mothball is eating his arm.
Well, it's a specific type of acting to be able to act with a co-star that can't act back. So
right. Carrie Elways is a legend.
And-
Love him.
As we all know, he's the only
For what
one
they-
with
Also
an
very good
English
in Saw.
accent.
Yes.
And also very good in
Yes.
like everything else he's ever been in.
I liked
First
him in Saw a
film
lot.
I ever saw with Carrie Elways was Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Oh my
yeah.
god, that's such a good movie.
Love that
So
movie.
good.
Love it.
Okay. So anyway, so we are talking about Princess Bride.
So
it's-
talking about Princess
it's-
Bride and doing the, I think what next we talk about the plot. I think
Yep.
that's
so
how
it's
goes.
a 1987
But,
film, directed by the son of Carl Reiner, right?
Rob Reiner.
Rob
don't know who
Reiner.
that is.
Yep.
Yeah.
It had a budget of $16 million, and that blows my mind. It had a budget of $16 million. My opinion, that had to have gone mostly to cast payouts, honestly, because look at the props they were using. Yeah,
They
look
made
at the
30, I think it was.
there wasn't really a lot going on setup wise when it's staging and because I mean like 16 million, like that blows my mind, which that's not a lot by today's standards, but in 1987 that was a good chunk of money for a film.
And they made
they used puppets.
They made 30 million. Yeah. They made 30 million in the box office.
Yeah.
Which is
not a lot.
But
it got a 97% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Wow. 97.
Pretty awesome.
But yeah, so it was based
it kind of has a cult following.
It does. So it's based off the book The Princess Bride by William Goldman, and it stars, besides Fred Savage and Carrie Elwes and Chris Sarandon, Mandy Patinkin, Robin Wright, Peter Falk, Billy Crystal, Andre the Giant, and Christopher Guest. So all-star cast, honestly.
Wally Shawn.
Oh, yeah. Carol Kane too. Can't forget Carol. Billy Crystal's wife. Oh my god.
I'm not a witch. I'm your wife. I don't even still want to be there anymore.
I loved
to
Carol
do the
Kane.
actual. So to do the actual way that we're supposed to do this, where the movie opens up and a kid coughing, and you see him playing a baseball game on Super Nintendo era?
Still
was
for 10 points. Nintendo. Oh, who called that? I was gonna make Stealth Dead answer like trivia.
Me.
You knocked it. All right, you lucky Stealth Dead.
I get the
saved
points.
you on that one. Yes, you do. You got the 10 points.
Anyway, yes. So plot. So it opens up with.
So it opens up with that. Then the mom comes in, checks on the kid, and then it's like, "Oh, I'm doing okay. I'm still sick." Okay, Grandpa's coming over to read you a story. Okay. And then Peter Falk walks in. The grandpa, who is the grandpa, walks in to read the favorite book to him, which is, as we know, The Princess Bride. And it's like, he sells it to him because there's pirates, there's death, and the book. And the funny thing about this, one of the funny things about the movie itself is that at times the kid will interrupt the story, and the grandpa's just like, "Shut up and let me read the story to you. Just let me finish. Just listen to the story." So when we open up to the actual movie portion, to actually what we're going for, we meet Princess Buttercup, who is not a princess at the time. She's just Buttercup, who has a handyman, I think, or what was his job?
A farmhand?
Yeah,
Yeah,
farmhand. That's what it was.
He's a farm boy helping on her family farm.
Yeah.
And he's just doing chores around, and like I think it was the most words before the most words said to her every time was "as you wish, as you wish," which is him saying "I love you."
Which, not gonna lie, as a kid, you know, every time he was like doing that cheesy "as you wish," we were all like, "Ew," you know, get to the fighting.
It's like, ew. I don't want a story about all
they're-
that kissing and mushy
yeah,
stuff, which is what Fred Savage's character says too. And
yeah,
then his
exactly. I
grandfather's like,
related
no,
to that
just
kid.
wait.
Yeah.
So we go through that, and we get to the point where they're standing at a sunset, I think it was around that time, and then he's telling her that he has to leave for a while. I think it was the first time that they kissed was at this portion too. This portion that they kissed, and that's when this is the first stop. It was like the kid's like, "Ew, you tricked me. Where's the pirates? Where's the fighting?"
More
And Grandma's
kissing.
just like, "Just let me read the book."
You're right.
Like, later on, I think later on you're gonna like this. You're gonna like kissing later on. Like, you gross. I'm not. So we go back into the story, and it goes into finishing up that scene, and it goes up, and it goes to where what dice? So it goes into where Wesley has not heard back, or is not heard back from, and the print and Buttercup gets word that he has died by the hands of the dreaded Pirate
Dread
Rogers.
Pirate Roberts.
Pirate Rogers.
Red Pirate Rock.
And then she looks poignantly
Roberts.
off into the distance and says, I shall never love again.
You
I
gotta
might have
love
seen
the
this movie like
cheesy.
a couple thousand times.
You
Fine.
gotta love this cheesiness. You really do.
It's spot on. What are you doing?
I mean, I love cheese, so obviously this
Me
is a
too.
good choice.
Gouda is amazing.
For sure.
Topic. There we go.
So she's upset
She'll never
because
love
Wesley
again.
has been killed by the Dread Pirate Roberts.
So she is never love again.
And we fast
Was it
forward.
about 5 years later?
To her
Was it
wedding.
5 years later is when Prince Humperdinck, aka someone's favorite character,
Humperdinck.
because of the actor, not the character himself. I'm sorry, I always get names wrong.
It's that I'm thinking of that scene. So keep going till we get to the part with Prince Humperdinck's father.
So we go to that where Prince Humperdinck has saying, "Hey, I don't want to do all else." Has said, "I'm marrying the Princess Buttercup," and it's the eve of their wedding night.
Mm-hmm.
So the Buttercup goes on a ride, just to go riding like you do when you're rich, and she gets stopped by Pizzini, who is Wallace Shawn.
You skipped the whole part. You skipped the part where she's talking to the king. So like he's holding her hand, and she's like, just out of nowhere, she's like, "I shall kill myself tonight." And her
No, that's at the end.
And he's like,
that's
nice, dear.
That's close to the end. No, that's closer to the end though. That's the second wedding night.
Oh, okay.
The first wedding night is when she gets kidnapped.
Oh, got you.
I know the scene you're talking about.
That is
I
one of my
just watched
favorite
it
parts.
today, and yet I'm still going to get your names wrong. That's nice. She kissed me on the cheek.
So anyway, she goes on a ride and she
Okay.
gets stopped by what's his name? Vizzini?
Vizzini, the Sicilian. Vizzini.
Yeah, Vizzini. That's the scene. Okay, so I'm trying to remember the dialogue. I know they talk, and that's about after they chat. That's about when Andre the Giant just grabs her up, or
Yeah.
Yes.
just out of nowhere, Andre just snatches her up, and
Just picks
you've
her
got
up.
for ransom.
yes, and you got Mandy Patinkin.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's coming in, and
But
then I
not yet.
believe
Inigo
not yet.
Montoya.
Not yet.
Uh,
So,
but
so the Sicilian boss named Vizzini, the giant from Greenland named Fezzik, which is Andre the Giant, and the Spanish fencing master, that's right, named Inigo Montoya, who seeks revenge.
against the six-fingered man,
Because someone killed his father.
Prepare to die.
prepare to die.
Yes.
Hello!
Well,
My name is Inigo Montoya.
so,
You killed my father.
so
Prepare to die.
after,
I
so,
love this.
so when she's kidnapped, they take her to the boat, and he goes and rips. I think he rips a guard uniform off of a guard
A
from
patch from the
what was that?
next door kingdom.
Greenland.
It doesn't
We'll
matter.
figure out the name of it later.
It doesn't matter.
But
It's
Florin is where she is from. But then it's like, yes, we're gonna go and kill her on the steps of the neighboring country. And Audrey was like, he said no one was gonna get her hurt. And Vizzini's like, oh, you idiot. This is what we're gonna do. Have a dialogue. And then Inigo Montoya shows up when we go like, I agree with Physic over here. We're not gonna I thought we were gonna hurt him. Like, the Spaniard finally speaks up. Like as if he was quiet the entire time, which he probably was. So now they're on the boat, on the way to wherever they're supposed to go. It is at night, and Vizzini is talking to Buttercup about the fact of no, Buttercup says something, and then Vizzini it goes and you better be worried about your own head at the time. Yeah, that Prince Humperdinck is a famous tracker and knows where to famous hunter and knows where to find and knows how to track. Something like that. And then you got Inigo Montoya looking out the back, like, should anyone be following us right now? And then he asks him, why do you say that? Like no one's following us. How can they? Like, why did you ask that? Oh, because I looked out the back and there's a boat following us. Such innocence, like, why did you just describe that there's a boat there now? And we get, and this is what people don't know, but this is our first time of seeing the boat of the Dread Pirate Roberts. They're in a lake of eels.
the shrieking
And
eels.
as
The shrieking eels.
and as Vizzini is looking out the back with Inigo Montoya, Princess Buttercup jumps out of the boat and tries to swim away. Even though I could not see any land for her to easily swim to in that lake. Could any of y'all?
No, she's just being dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like she jumps into it just to try to escape, and they're just Vizzini was just like, yeah, well, now you know why they're called shrieking eels, and you know why they shriek, princess. They shriek, and then they go silent right before they kill their victims, and she's sitting there going, oh no, in the water. And then Fezzik finally reaches out and like hauls her up, and yeah, so he's just like,
And
you
they
can
moved the
run,
boat
but
close enough to do that. So then, as the scene progresses after this, each time that they're moving the boat across, they're looking back, and you see a shot of the boat that's following them. Like, inconceivable. Keeps on going, inconceivable. They get to the cliffs of insanity. And that's a long ass climb for anyone to make. You got Andre the Giant, Physic, who is now carrying 3 people on him. Carrying Vizzini, carrying Princess Buttercup, and carrying Inigo Montoya. And just one hand over hand pulling up the long ass cliff, which is, who leaves a rope like that unless it's a designed place of entrance or someone had a plan for that? That's just long enough rope with extra coils at the rock at the top, and then the pirate Roberts makes it and starts climbing up the rope also. Then you're seeing this, like, inconceivable. You're following. You want help?
But Dread Pirate Roberts isn't just following; he's like gaining on them. He's like
that's the
Yes.
important thing.
more quickly.
Here. Don't take up. I'm
When they
doing one.
get up to the top of the Cliffs of Insanity, Vicini then cuts the rope. And then Inigo Montoya is looking over the edge and goes, Fezzik! Vicini, he's still climbing! So then Vicini says, alright, well, we're going to take the princess. Fezzik, you come with me. Inigo, take care of him. So then Inigo's just like, okay, well, I'll just wait for him and then we'll do a sword fight. So he looks over the edge and he's like, hello, I hope you know I'm just waiting to kill you when you get up here. And Dread Pirate Roberts just was like, well, I'm taking my time anyway, so I'll basically just see you when I get up there. And Negros is like, okay. So then you see like the scene where he's practicing parries and thrusts and things like that. And then he really just wants to get to the fight. So he's just like, I have a rope. Would you like me to throw it down? And it's like, you know what? That would definitely be a good thing. So one of my favorite lines in that whole thing is when he actually says, I'm just gonna like kill you when you get up here. And then Dread Pirate Roberts is like, that does put a damper on our relationship. So then when he gets up to the top of the cliff, he immediately starts to pull his sword, and Inigo's just like, no, you can take a minute to rest. And then he goes, thank you. And then Inigo goes, I hate to ask, but do you have 6 fingers? And then the guy's just like, what? He's like, just
Do you have to
humor
have
me.
6 fingers on your right hand?
So he holds up his hand, and it's, of course, 5, and he goes, oh, okay. And then this is one of the weirdest things for me when I first watched it, was when Dread Pirate Roberts pulled off his boots and just started dumping all these rocks out of it. I'm just like, where were they hiding? And then I was just like, this is just so absurd. It's funny.
Right.
And yeah, they just played it so straight. It was just dumping rocks out of a boot. It was like, oh, okay. And then
fun fact about that fight, that is actually the 2 actors. There were no stuntmen used in that fight scene, and neither Carrie nor Mandy ever used a sword a day in their life before they started practicing for this one fight scene.
Yeah. Remember, Inigo Montoya was like, okay, I'm going to fight with my left hand. Well, I'm strong with my right, so I don't want to end the fight too soon. Hurry up. Then just hurry up. Come after me.
And because of that in the script,
so
both
they do.
Potemkin and Elwes learned how to fight with both hands, left and right. Stop, go promote.
What up?
And then
hydrate.
Not sponsored, but it's really good. Damn good water.
So they have their sword
the
fight.
train is
They
pulling
do the
into
thing.
the hydration station.
So they have their fight. Inigo Montoya loses. Roberts goes on in, and then we cut to where apparently Vizzini and Physic were watching this fight happen instead of running further away.
Right?
Vizzini tells Physic to like, okay, just take this rock and hide behind that boulder over there. But that's not manly. I don't care. Just do it. So he does it,
Honorable.
and Vizzini and President Buttercup goes away. And then, yeah, I'm sorry, we had to come back.
So
So
another
if you're watching
fun
this
fact
fight
about-
and you're supposed to be
about-
kidnapping a... Do your fun fact.
So the fun fact about this fight scene between Andre the Giant and Carrie Elwes, there was a body double that was a foot shorter than Andre that had to be used during this fight scene because Andre the Giant suffered from severe back problems and couldn't bear any strenuous physical harm. And Rob Reiner, essentially, he wanted Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yes, he wanted Arnold, which, if you know anything about Arnold, he's not a giant. He's a short man. He's like 5'9", 5'10". He's a short man. But like we said
he's
before,
buffed.
I mean, come on. But like we said before, the budget for this film was only $16 million, which wasn't even enough in 1987 to pay Arnold to even be casted.
What was the first Terminator movie?
70s.
Nah.
Yeah.
It was in the
80s.
80s, but it was before 87. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
82.
It was like
They-
85, I thought.
They wanted to do Princess Bride in the 70s, but it never happened.
84.
84.
Okay. So they did not have Terminator money to get him.
No, they did not have Terminator money. Like I said, that budget for the whole film wasn't even enough to pay Arnold to show up. Like, that's baller status right there.
Yeah. Thank
Alright,
you for
so-
the biddies.
Bitter!
Thanks,
Yeah.
guys.
So before we get to the actual fight, Physics is hiding behind the boulder, and then Roberts comes around and slows down to the portion where the Physics is at. And he stops, looks around a little bit. Next thing we see is a boulder or a rock flying past his head and hit the rock beside him. And Physics comes out like, I could have hit you with that. I know. And he's holding a rock. He's holding a rock, and then Robert draws the sword. Like, okay, let's be honorable about this. And we get into the fight hand to hand. And they're doing their fight. Andre the Physic goes like, I'm used to fighting 12 men at one time. 10, 12 men at one time. I'm not used to long, drawn out solo fights. And which Robert's doing his thing, gets around behind him, and chokes him out like you would do on a single fire because that was for him because I think they played it where Andre could barely grab at him, which I think in reality he could have grabbed him and threw him off, and it would have been almost nothing for him to do. But he gets passed out.
Yes. Like in the book, Physic is, he's a massive, strong man that could easily probably destroy him. But like we said, Andre, he could only do so much physically because he suffered so much.
Well, it's also the fact that they wanted the actual movie or stick to the book and follow that along. So we get that, and then we come back to Vizzini. Goes inconceivable again. Just watching, not running away any further than where he can watch things. Like, why run away as far as you can?
See, I love that actor too because another fun fact: that actor that played Vizzini, the Sicilian, He was worried the entire time he was filming his scenes that he was going to be fired because he legit cannot do a Sicilian accent. He can't do it. He was scared to death. He was going to be fired at any second. But Rob kept him.
Well,
He has that lisp.
Yes.
So then we cut to the scene where now Roberts has caught up. There is a picnic laid out, essentially. Don't know where he got the table set up. I know, right?
And that threw me off as a kid too.
And
I'm
there's
like,
a
wait,
table.
there's a where'd the
And
table
there's a
and chairs?
table.
You gotta love the cheesiness.
He obviously had Physic bring it up the cliffs of insanity in the backpack.
Yeah, of course, yes.
Obviously.
Totally.
So
I thought he just laid
I
out this
see
thing on a
best
rock,
it.
honestly. But that was me.
Yeah, I thought it was on the ground, but I don't know. I thought they were kneeling in
I
front
thought
of
it was
it.
on a table.
I thought
It
they were
could have been
kneeling.
a rock. It could have
I
been a
don't know.
rock.
It's been a while.
It was elevated. The thing is, it was elevated. It wasn't on the actual ground. That's what we know.
Sure.
I was just
figure out
impressed
props
he
later.
was able to, carry a bottle of wine up that massive cliff and not even break it. Like, impressive.
So they have a
That back
picnic.
then was more durable than it is now.
And
So,
the Dread Pirate Roberts
caught him.
meets Physic. Or Vizzini, excuse me.
Yeah. So he caught up and was like, you bested Inigo in the sword, bested Physic in brute. Now you cannot beat a Sicilian in mind games.
Intellect.
Okay. So he brings out this
Wait.
vial of poison. It's like, wait.
Iocane powder.
So he pulls out the thing of poison. Okay.
Iocane powder.
So I'll put this in a cup. Put this powder in a cup. And you'll pick which one we drink. We both drink. And whoever drinks this will die. So Fizzini over here starts to get laughing. He's like, no. It's like, okay, we'll do that. He pours some wine. Roberts takes the cups. Takes them behind his back, like over to the side over here, like, oh, you can't see me. You can't see what I'm doing. And puts it back on the table. Vizzini goes, does his thing, goes to pick a cup, picks the cups, has Roberts do the classic, oh, turn away, and switches the cups quickly at the last second type of thing. And then they both drink the cups. Now you got Vizzini over here laughing, like, how you can't beat a Sicilian in a game of
logic part
there's
of
a
it.
life. Well, tell us the logic then.
Go, Potions. Take it away. Knock it out the park.
So the whole thing with Vizzini is he is the smartest one out of the group, don't you know? And he clearly uses his wit and his brains to get out of every situation he's ever in. So that's basically why he came up with the whole plan of Prince Humperdinck had hired him to start a war. So that's why they kidnapped Buttercup and were going to frame the kingdom next door as her murderers. So here he's just like, well, clearly a man would want to be as far away from the poison as possible, which means you would put the poison in the cup in front of me. So clearly I cannot drink the poison in the cup in front of me. And then, but a smart man would know that that is exactly what would happen. So clearly I cannot choose the cup in front of you. And he just keeps bouncing back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And then Dread Pirate Roberts is just like, truly you have a dizzying intellect. And then Vizzini's just like, just wait until I get started. And he just keeps going around back and forth on, he just can't drink this one or that one or this one or that one. And then finally Dread Pirate Roberts is like, so you've made your choice? And he's like, yes. I'm going to drink the one in front of, what was that? And then he switches the cups.
That's another one of my favorite parts. Oh my god. What could that
Yep.
be?
Oh my goodness, over there. And then, like, meanwhile, Buttercup is like completely blindfolded for this entire thing. So
Chilling.
she's just hearing this whole thing. And then Dread Pirate Roberts turns back and says, I didn't hear anything. I didn't see anything. So Vasini's is like, oh, well, it must have just been the wind. Oh, well. Hee 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 hee. So you drink in front of you and I'll drink the one in front of me. Hee hee hee. And then they both take a sip and Dread Pirate Roberts goes, what's so funny? And then Vasini says, or no, Dread Pirate Roberts says, you guessed wrong. And Vasini says, haha, that's what's so funny. I switched glasses. Never, ever, ever like try to go against a Sicilian, especially when death is on the line. And he dies. And Buttercup is just like, all that time the poison was in the cup in front of you. And Dread Pirate Roberts is just like, actually it was in both cups. I've spent the past however many years just building up a tolerance to it. So I poisoned both
Of course
cups.
he has. Of course. At random, his
'Cause
character has plot intellect to build up an immunity to one certain poison.
And of course, one the Sicilian
That
has
is-
the exact poison that he built up his immunity to.
Of course. Of
Yeah.
course.
No.
Dread Pirate Roberts is the one who
No,
proposed
Robert's
it,
probably.
I think. Yeah,
Roberts is the one
he's
that
the one
carried the
who
poison.
made the situation. Because
Mhm.
Vicini had Buttercup there, and he's like, come a step closer and I'll kill her. And then Dread Pirate Roberts
yeah,
sat
yeah.
down and he's just like, well, how about a battle of wits? To the death. And
That's
Vicini's like, oh, okay. Yay.
But even still, he's walking around this entire time,
Yep.
fighting giants, slinging swords, with a little glass bottle of powder.
With a vial of iocane powder just tucked into his tunic.
Yeah, just for save it
It
for a
doesn't
rainy
break.
day.
That's
You
it.
know,
The glass back
case,
then
you
was
know,
almost
you never-
indestructible.
You never know when you're going to need to poison somebody offhand. Just
Yeah, just
It's-
carry some poison there.
it's colorless, tasteless, scentless, dissolves instantly in liquids, undetectable. It is the perfect poison.
Perfect, untraceable.
And
So
we cut
all
from
of
this
them are
scene
bested.
to Prince Humperdinck. What's up?
I was gonna say, so all of them are bested, and so Dread Pirate Roberts now has control over Buttercup.
Yes.
But we cut from this scene over to Prince Humperdinck when he first appeared at the Cliffs of Insanity at the top. Like there was a fight here. The loser ran away, and then the winner went this way.
Oh,
Okay.
the Count. The Count was the one who parsed down the fight. And the Count is the one with 6 fingers. He's the 6-fingered man.
I thought the Count stayed on his horse, and Humperdinck was the one running around.
All right, now you're right. But the Count is basically always like a step behind Prince Humperdinck.
Yeah, watching him, making sure he's okay.
With 6 fingers.
That's nasty.
That's nasty.
Yes, and then
I
it
mean,
closes.
if you became a bartender, that's some type of drink.
So there's a close up on the Count's hands on his leg,
On
I
his
think.
thigh.
Yeah.
Yeah, on his thigh.
And you see he has 6 fingers. And you're like, dun dun dun.
Of course he does. Naturally.
I thought that was later on.
Uh-uh.
I think you see it immediately, but I don't know.
Yeah. Or is it
I
Count
don't think it
Ruger?
was this scene. I thought it was. I thought it was when they captured him after the fire swap.
No, they keep reaffirming that the Count has 6 fingers.
I remember seeing the close up during the fire swamp. But
Yeah, they do
anyway,
it a few times, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. That's one of those plot points of
So-
like, I think it's the rule of threes.
Yeah, they're like, can we make sure that you guys understand that this is what it is? Okay.
so anyway, then we cut back over to I think it was Pirates and Buttercup. They're moving along, and then she is. What was it? Blah, blah, blah.
She basically verbally abuses the pirate Roberts.
Yeah, she's being like
then
a captured princess, being like, "What are you doing? They are stupid." Blah 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 blah.
The prince will rescue me.
Gonna kill
so
you.
it goes back in. So for a little bit, it goes back and forth between the Roberts and the princess moving along, and Humperdinck following the fight that happened. First, it was the fight with Inigo Montoya. Then Belushi ran away. And this one was the next one when they got someone fought a giant and one ran away. And then we go to the next one where this is one
find the body.
One more where and then Vizzini was dead. And then now we get to the one where the actual arrest period between Princess and Roberts, and it goes they're taking a rest right now, and this is where she starts verbally abusing him. Blah blah, like why you're an idiot, blah blah blah. You just killed Wesley, and then started talking about Wesley. Well, this is a blonde, and started describing him a little bit. And the reason I remember that because please.
It was an honorable death.
Is weird to remember someone by.
We also ask her like why she cares about him or something, or is that later?
I don't really remember, but basically she describes how Wesley was the kindest, gentlest, most best boy in the world, and so Dread Pirate was like, "What can I do to make it up to you?" And she goes, "Just die," and like shoves him off down this gigantic hill. And then the last thing you hear from Dread Pirate Roberts is, "As you wish." And she goes, "Oh my dear sweet Wesley," and throws herself down the hill too. So they're both just tumbling, going, "Ooh, ooh, ooh,
ow!"
It's just.
Which I ain't gonna lie, I was seriously impressed with the stuntmen because it was two men and it was a man and this is exactly how they say it in this factoid. It was a stuntman in a blonde wig. And I'm impressed with him. Good shit. That wig.
I couldn't tell the difference. I was like, damn.
Yeah. I don't know if that was an actual hill, but impressive on them.
Yeah, it was
too for
great.
the length they did. So before that one happened, we got the Humperdinck is in the background. They see his horses and them coming back like, "Oh, Humperdinck is coming soon." So then I wish you were dead, and then pushes them. And then we got Humperdinck arrives at the spot where they're at. He goes, "There's only one place they could go, the fire swamp," which is an interesting fucking series of scenes.
Yeah.
Thank you for the raid, Elf Daddy.
Elf Daddy raid. So, quick, you guys want to hear something? You want to hear something bizarre about the crew that was in charge of the fire swamp?
Sure.
The man in charge of the special effects with the fire and all that, got into a domestic dispute with his wife and was locked away in jail. And a producer had to go to jail and bail out the fire specialist so he could get back to the set and continue working. What?
I mean, if you have a good enough employer, they're gonna bail you out of jail and take you to work and like, dude, we're gonna talk about this later.
I mean, when there's that much money on the line and everybody else, job depends on that person being there, it is much more cost effective to bail them out the fuck of jail so everybody else can get to work and not waste money.
I read that and I was like, no fucking way. Anywho, we'll talk about him more.
There's a person. Oh, he's in jail. I have to go get him. Sorry.
He's in jail for domestic violence. Let's go bail him out real quick.
Don't worry, I'll keep an eye on
It
him.
was a different time.
Like, don't worry, I'll keep an eye on him. He's gotta go blow something up real quick. Yeah, we're doing the show. Go get it. So, we enter the fire swamp. And them getting to the fire swamp, there's really nothing happening. They arrive at it, like, blah, blah. We're not gonna survive. So, first they go, and they hear pop. You hear pop, pop. Like a crackling pop, pop, pop sound. And a jet of fire shoots up. Well, he pulls her away from that after getting singed a little bit.
Where you talking about where her dress catches on fire?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So that scene, the author of the book was escorted off set because he was screaming about Robin's dress being on fire, and he ruined several shots. And they escorted the man off the set because he ruined several takes of that. And it was a fire retardant fabric.
So, like, is that not in the book about the fire being on the dress being on fire or something like that?
I don't know.
Like, why was he
freaked him out? It freaked him out bad
why was
enough
he
that
yelling
Rob
about it?
Reiner had him excused from the set.
Okay. But anyway, so we got that. Then we see another jet of fire, and then next thing they're walking along. All of a sudden, the princess just goes right into quicksand. Like, what the hell? And then he pulls a branch off, puts a branch into the quicksand, and climbs down and goes to get her. In the background, before they come back up, or like in the foreground, there's a rat about the size of an 80-pound
Size
dog
of a man.
that comes
Just
around,
in a
sniffs
rat
at
suit.
it, and walks away. Yeah. And then they get saved. He pulls them out. They get saved. And that's when we found out that that's called lightning quicksand. Which I don't know. But it seemed all dry. Like it was just a pocket of dry sand. And that it was just cavernous.
Plot sand.
Cavernous.
Yes, that word. Now it gets point like, oh, there's no hope. We're not gonna make it through here. We're not gonna die. Oh, we're all gonna die. Can't do this. It's too hard. Like, no, we can do this. We already found out what causes the fire. If you hear the pops, that's the start of the fire. And you've already found out what the lightning quicksand looks like with your falling into it. And that's all we gotta worry about. What about the ruse? The really
ROUSs.
the rodents of unusual size. Yeah, the rodents of unusual sizes. Oh, so this
I don't
says
think they
lightning sand is
exist.
quicksand on steroids. Yep, and so we had that fight scene. He
Where he
goes.
gets his shoulder
He
chewed
starts
up
trying
to hell.
Yep, and he tries to fight it, and I think what he burned it is what to finally kill it. Something like that.
Yeah, he gets
Yeah,
like
he
bit,
stabbed
you
it
know?
and then heard the popping, so he rolled over and burned the rat in the jet of fire.
Mhm.
And
But yeah,
then
his shoulder's
so they
all
make it
fucked up
out.
because the rat was chewing on it.
Yeah. So they make it out, and then we got Prince Humperdinck and Count Regan are there like, ha! And his men start surrounding him, like, release the princess to me. Blah, blah. He's not going to do it. Then this is the thing I remember, the close-up of the 6 fingers on the count. This is the one I remember. That. So as they're going back and forth, the Prince Humperdinck is going to obviously try and shoot the Roberts, which we know is Wesley at this point. And then the Princess makes a deal. Wait, escort him to his ship, and then I'll go with you and marry you willingly. So nothing happens to him. Well, he accepts that deal. What's up?
None.
So he accepts that deal, but then he tells Count Reagan, so once we're out of sight, take him to the pit of despair. And so then they get to the prince and Buttercup leave, and we got Count Reagan and Roberts. Roberts mentions the 6 fingers on one hand. Like, one guy is looking for you. You got 6 fingers in your hand. You got someone's looking for you. And then he gets knocked the fuck out by the Count Regent. Before that, lying is unbecoming of you. Is becoming man of our towns. And you're not gonna let me go. Is what goes down like that. So after he gets knocked out, he wakes up. We cut to a scene of they're in the pit of despair, and he's getting taken care of by
The albino.
Yes. Yeah, to the albino. Which this scene I think was weird. So we got the albino start taking like in a gravelly voice. He coughs, as if he's clearing his throat. And he goes, "Oh, that's better." So like in a fancy accent,
Perfectly
like just
normal
regular accent.
conversational voice.
Yeah. Like, do you have enough people down there to keep your vocal cords like that?
So
And
he's
then
being tortured now.
Yeah.
no, he's still being taken care. He's taken care of at this point. Because then we cut to.
He's screaming.
I
Well,
think this is
they
where we cut
explained
to.
that the only reason they're keeping him alive is so they can torture him and kill him later.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes.
Yeah, that was the exchange.
No, but he's not being tortured yet. We cut to a scene of I
Not
think it was
yet.
the princess dream. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but we cut to a scene of the dream. The princess having a dream of where the king has died, and we cut to back to the frame of the boy and the grandpa going like, "Wait, Princess Buttercup can't marry Humperdinck right now. What is this? You're lying to me." Like blah blah blah. Like, so let me tell the story. And so, as the dream goes on, she's walking down, past everything. This old lady stands up and goes, "Oh, what was it? Shame!
No.
No, boo, boo, boo! Their true love still lives. You let him go. You didn't kill him, Mama." And so she wakes up out of her dream after this. Now my memory's starting to fail me at this point. So I think at this point we'll cut to she wakes up. We cut to Humperdinck and his chief of spies. Bye bye, Vampire Eye. We know you got to go to work. And we started late, and he's going.
So isn't this where we find out what Humperdinck's real purpose is?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. We go to that portion now. Yeah. So the spy network guy, or his spy master, shows up and he's like, "Yes, my sire. I have I've heard word that I've heard I I've heard word that what was it? Gildan had people hiding out in the Thieves Forest, which convenient location for all the thieves. So like if anything goes missing, you know exactly where to go in the Thieves Forest.
Yeah, pretty much.
And it's like, my spies haven't heard anything about this. Well, I want it cleared out before my wedding in 10 days. All right, I want it cleared out in the morning of my wedding in 10 days. Blah blah blah. And we got a princess shows up saying, I'm not gonna marry you as long as it's like I can't marry you anymore. Like blah blah. I want Wesley and yeah, my memory's failing at this point.
Yeah, so
Horrible. I mean,
so she asks Humperdinck to search for Wesley, and he tells her that he will, but in actuality, he told the Count to torture Wesley, and his plan is to kill Buttercup. Humperdinck's plan is to kill Buttercup, and to do that, to frame Buttercup's murder, for their neighboring country, Gilder, I think it is. So basically, the prince wants fame, and he wants
war.
he wants to prove himself for war or whatever. So he wants to start a war with the neighboring country, and to do that, he's going to kill Princess Buttercup and frame Gilder for it. What you talked about is that Humperdinck told the thieves to be arrested. So Fezzik and Inigo Montoya meet up again in the forest as they're evading capture. Fezzik tells Inigo about the Count and the Six Fingers, and then Inigo says that they need Wesley's help to storm the castle so he can get his revenge.
and
Then,
in one scene we see the machine in Count Region the first time, and what it does is it's a water wheel hooked up to suction cups that as more water runs over the wheel, it suctions your life away from you.
The life out of you. By years.
I want to make something like that to just see what the fuck, like see if it will actually work.
right.
But it's just like, I don't see how that works.
It's magic. It's
Because
fine.
the way it's set up is like, it's not really suctioning anything. It's just suction cups on you, and then I think it was during the time that thieves are getting rounded up, and Physic and Inigo are finally meet up. We cut to the scene. What? I mean, we're not making videos over here. Yeah. We cut to the scene of where the princess finally finds out that Prince Humperdinck didn't do anything that he said he was going to do, and still going to marry her. Still going to marry her while still just getting her to believe this con. So he finally runs down to the machine where we see Count Regent at and Wesley and Albino. It's like he just shoves it all the way up to 50, because I think it was back in the time that the Princess Bride itself, the book was 50 is your life expectancy. Like it wasn't that you weren't expected to live that long, I think, especially for pirates. Yeah. But he goes, this is where we hear the first scream out of him, and the reason why Physic and Inigo are looking for him is because Inigo heard, Physic heard that there were going to be 30 men at the gates, initially, and Physic can only handle 10 at one time, 10 dudes, and you got Inigo's like on his fingers like this. That leaves 20 men for me. That's too much for me. Like the classic, let's do math on my hands. I can do this. We're not in a rush. So we now all hear all the scream.
Yeah,
They
so-
hear it. They go to the forest.
Gets imprisoned, and Wesley's getting tortured, and he's screaming a lot.
Yep.
Mhm.
So they hear the man. They hear the scream of a man who's in love and whatnot. So, and then the way that
How do
they
you?
find Wesley in the pit of despair is Inigo. One of the things that we glossed over in the initial sword fight between Inigo and Dread Pirate Robert / Wesley was that Wesley had complimented Inigo's sword, and Inigo had told him, "Well, it belonged to my father, and my father was killed by the six-fingered man," etc., etc. So he's basically Inigo is holding the sword up and asking for guidance and guide my sword, father. I need the man. I need this man to help find the six-fingered man. And then like he's doing this mystical thing, has his eyes closed, and then the sword just runs right into a tree, and he just goes, "Ugh, it didn't work," and then he falls like that in frustration against this particular knot, and then boink, that's the secret button entrance, and they find him.
So
It's just
he's
like,
dead.
that's just so
Well,
plot convenient.
I know.
yes. So he's dead. They find him dead.
Mhm.
They go, oh, we can go see the Miracle Man. Or was it Miracle Max?
Miracle
Yeah,
Max.
Miracle Max. Picks him up, goes and takes him there. And they knock on the door. Go away. Like, oh, we need a miracle. We're going to rescue a princess. Blah, blah, blah. Like, I can't. Last person I did died. Or we have possibility of dying. Oh, don't worry. The person we want you to help is already dead.
He's
already dead, you say? Okay, I'll help you out now.
Already
Well, if
did.
he's already dead, there's
You're
only
not gonna
one
worry
thing
about it.
left
He's
he
already
can do.
dead.
What's that? Go through his pockets for change. Tee. He makes a joke about Wesley being dead and shaking him down.
Yep.
So then he gets an old bellows, which is used to soak the flame of fires, blows Wesley up, and then goes, okay, presses on his stomach a little bit, goes, okay, tell me your secrets. True love. See? True love. What more noble of a thing can be? Nah, true love, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. No, but he said to blave, which means to lie. So we know he's just bullshitting you. He was playing a game of cards to bluff. So he's playing a game of cards. He got killed. Bullshit! That's not what he said. Which is potions coming on this.
What?
The witch. The witch.
Liar! Liar! Ah, it's the witch. I'm not a witch. I'm your wife. But I'm not even sure I want to be there anymore.
That's stretch.
Oh, good. Stretch. Yeah, just Miracle Max and his wife are amazing with how they just banter back and forth.
I love them.
They're amazing.
So we find out that because how much money do you got? 65 coins. 65 coins isn't that much. Blah blah. So the big scene happens, and you're like, "This is stop the wedding of Prince Humperdinck." Wait, Prince Humperdinck?
Oh, he
apparently
hates him.
That changes everything because Prince Humperdinck is the one that fired him in the first place. Not the king, but the prince fired him. So now he just wants to cause wreck havoc on that. So they make the potion like chocolate to help it go down. Okay, so
It's a
before
magic pill,
he
which
takes
is
it, you got
actually a
what,
chocolate
15
covered
minutes.
cherry.
And yeah, so you got what, 15 minutes before you give it to him. Then it'll take effect, and you do not go swimming 1 hour after you take it. Like, okay, thank you. They give them the coins and they go off. We see them next at the castle wall to go before or at a wall in front of the castle. Okay, so we give to him now. I think so. They give him the cherry, or they give him the magic potion, the magic pill, and he goes, so how long do we think before it takes effect? Right as soon as he finished saying that, or he's like, I don't know. I goes, I'm gonna kill you. Blah blah blah. Oh,
Yeah, he just basically
immediate.
wakes up and starts verbally going. Ah. It's great.
So, oh wait, why can't I move? You've been mostly dead for the day for all the day. And so as he's talking about it, his thumb starts going like twitchy, like, look, you just moved your thumb. Oh, I'm a fast healer. How the hell are you a fast healer if you're mostly dead for the day?
I mean, that's just the myth of the Dread Pirate Roberts. So he's just that awesome.
He is.
And they're going over the plan and everything and explaining the layout of the castle. They're like, all right, there's 30 men, there's 3 of us, and we need to get into the castle in order to get to.
So at this time they actually had 60 men out there. So it's like, okay, what assets do we have? We have my sword, my steel, and his brawn. If only we had. That's not enough. If only we had a wheelbarrow. Hey, where do we put that wheelbarrow? Over that albino? Why didn't you mention that in the assets? Well, why not? Like, it's not something you think of immediately when someone says, what assets do we have? Well, sorry, wheelbarrow is not the first thing that comes to my mind if I have one.
I don't know.
And he goes, okay, so we have wheelbarrow. Now, if only we had a long cloak, which then physical pulls out. Here, like this one right here. Yes. Where'd you get that? Oh, it fit me fine, and Miracle Max just told me, just keep it.
It fits so nice.
You know, just perfect plot. Just a perfect plot stuff going around, like, there's perfect plot stuff going like, oh yeah, you can keep that. Really? So, and we wait a little bit. It gets to the sundown. It's starting to go nighttime, and they are. I think this is the beginning of the wedding. We cut to the wedding scene. Which then it's the classic old what was it, the old bishop or whatever it is presiding over the wedding. And you hear fighting outside. I'm sorry, I cannot do that. But
today.
Mel Smith is who played the albino. Interesting. Cut to the frame.
But yeah, so they infiltrate the castle. They have the wedding. Humperdinck knows, I think, that the castle is being infiltrated. So they do.
Well, yeah, you hear
the fight outside.
You can start hearing the fighting.
Right.
So that he as the wedding goes on, he gestures to Count Regan, like, oh, go take care of it. He takes some of his men. We cut back to the outside, where Andre the Giant or Physic is in a wheelbarrow, with a cape on, with the cloak on. He goes, "Oh, I'm the Dread Pirate Robert. Oh, I'm gonna get you." And then you cut behind him a little bit. You see, Wesley is on the back of Inigo Montoya, and he's like pushing it, like, is it time to light him yet? Not yet. A little bit further.
Like they've got candles and
stuff. Is it
stuff.
ready to light yet? Light now. They light the cloak and he goes on fire. He's just carrying all these 60 men. They
Like
all
just
run away,
scaring
and it gets
them.
to the point where the ramparts are closing. Yeah, it's just scaring them. So the rampart starts closing. Physic, rampart. We got a big ass giant. Just stops the rampart, which, yes, which, where's the bunny? Go get bunny.
Oh, Natalie.
So it stops the rampart, which those ramparts are heavy. They're designed to just slam on the ground and stay closed. Well, you got Andre who just lifts it up, no problem. There, really? Go get it. And all three are surrounding the spy master. It's like, where's the key to the cat? Where's the key to the gate? What key? I don't have a key. Andre? Sorry, physics?
Rip his
I'm
arms
gonna
off.
rip his arms off now.
No,
Oh,
Fezzik, rip
this
his arms
key.
off.
Oh, you mean this key? Which they just give him the key and they enter the castle. And then this is the first time that Count Regent and then Inigo meet. So now so he knows that he is a six-fingered man. No, a little bit before that though, we cut to the wedding again, and Prince Humperdinck is rushing through, like telling him, hurry up, blah blah blah. No, we don't blah blah. Just say man and wife. Just say man and wife. I now pronounce you man and wife, and they're married now. So then we come back to Inigo and then entering the castle, running down. We got kill the one in black and kill the giant. Keep the one in the middle open, alive for questioning. Inigo bests them all, and then Count Regent, like, standing there, runs away. Like in every movie ever, he runs away. Takes chase. Inigo takes chase. And then Andre Physics puts down Wesley onto the pseudo armor that's always next to a corner in every castle ever, and chase after him when he needs help opening a door. He opens the door. We come back. Andre goes back. Physics goes back after opening the door for Inigo, and they get to the and Wesley's not on the armor anymore. We see Physics going, looking around, and just runs off somewhere. And we go back to Inigo Montoya, who's and every chase scene in a wall of doors, or not wall doors, but in things with doors. Somehow he's able to find out. Oh, he went through this door. Let's go to this door. Like the red doors, somehow he always goes to. Which plot running, plot chasing.
Convenient.
So when he enters the last door, Count Regent throws a knife at Inigo Montoya and hits him right in the stomach. So we have glossed over a big faction of Inigo Montoya's backstory. When he was talking to Wesley on top of the cliffs, he goes, "There's a man with 6 fingers who killed my father because he made a sword and didn't want to pay for. He got a sword made that he didn't want to pay for. That he didn't want to pay for. And he gave a young Inigo Montoya, which was 20 years ago in this timeline, a scar on the cheek. So for 20 years, Inigo Montoya has been has been studying swordsmanship alone, just swordsmanship. So back to the actual storyline now. He goes, "My name is Inigo Montoya. You have killed my father. Prepare to die." So there's that one. And then, as the Count Regent's like, "Oh, you're that little You're that little whelp that I what was
Taught a
it?
lesson to all those years ago.
That's what it was. And it starts. So we got Inigo Montoya against the wall, left hand on his stomach from where the knife was at. After he pulled it out, of course, like
Of
what you
course,
do first time when anything stabs you, you pull it right out.
Like you do.
He got his sword. The cat reader goes to attack him. He deflects it into his other arm, into his left arm. He goes to stab, deflects it again, right into his right arm. Like, really? So
It's
now
poignant,
Inigo Montoya is
okay?
fighting. Inigo Montoya is now fighting back and going, saying his line again and again and again. I am Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. I'm Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. Like, each time, get stronger as he says the phrase.
And the
So,
count's
like
going,
what you do,
saying that.
like any catchphrase in the world, if you say it enough and you have your own, you should get stronger every time you say it. That's what it was.
Basically like a mantra.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tomato.
His credo.
So that he ends up killing. No, he goes, offer me money, or tell me you give me money. I give you all the money. Blah blah blah. Tell me you want. Tell me you give me whatever I want. I want my. I'll give you anything, anything. I want my father.
You son of a
And
bitch.
nothing can give me the back. And he kills the count. And he kills the count.
He gets his revenge.
And then we get. Yes. Now we cut to Bam's favorite scene, which is after the wedding. The princess is going to the honeymoon suite with the king
And she's going to kill herself.
and the queen. She kisses the king on the cheek, and he goes, "Why? What's that for? For being so nice to me. I want to say thank you. Oh, sorry. Thank you." And then this is the last time you see me. I'm gonna go kill myself in the honeymoon suite before he can kill me. Ah, that's nice, dearie. She kissed me on the cheek. Like, that's a little concerning. Maybe that's why he's retiring. So
But
she's in the. So they enter the honeymoon suite. There's a convenient knife on the and a box on the table, which she opens up and pulls
a dagger out.
and pulls the knife out. So she's like this, prepared to thrust it into her chest. And in the background, we hear, I just had it. There's a shortage of perfect breasts in this world.
In the world. It would be a shame for you to damage yours.
She turns around, like, Leslie! Climbs on top of him on the bed, and he's laid out. With no clue how he got there. Somehow he crawled his way over there
himself
before them.
Love.
Which I don't know. It's the plot dragging because we don't know how he found out where it was. And then she comes and sounds like, "Oh,
my
hold
dear
me.
sweet Wesley,
Gently, like
gentler. Why aren't you moving?
Gently. Well, that's how you want to do this." But I'm sorry, but we can't be together. I'm married. But did you say I do? No.
Well,
Then it's not a legal wedding. If you say I do, then it's not a legal wedding. So you're not really married. Oh. And we have Prince Humperdinck appear in the honeymoon suite. Oh. And we got Wesley and Humperdinck banter going back and forth. Like, I'll fight you to the death. I'll fight you to the pain. I'm sorry. I'm not familiar with that term. Well, to the pain means, first, I'll chop off your feet right at the ankles. Then, I'll chop off your hands at the wrist. And can't remember what Humperdinck. I can't remember what Humperdinck says. To
he basically Wesley starts listing body parts, and then Humperdinck gets impatient and goes, "Yes," and then my eyes, and then my ears. I get it. Let's get to it. And then Wesley goes, "Wrong.
No,
your ears you keep, and I'll tell you why."
No, I remember. It goes. Then you'll cut out my tongue, so I can't talk. Blah blah. Then I'll cut out your left eye. Then I'll pluck out your right eye. Yes, and then you'll cut off my ears. No, I will not cut off your ears. So that every time you'll keep your ears, and you know why? Every time you walk through a crowd and hear the shrieks of people and the little kids when they see your disfigured body, you'll hear every scream, and that's what "to the pain" means. And we see, and once he pulls up his sword, like points his sword from his from the bed, like, well, you can't get up. I could get up. He slowly walks up from the bed, and no, he slowly gets up from the bed. He does get up from the bed.
He's bluffing.
And then Humperdinck is scared, like he's cowering. Drop the sword. He drops it. Sits in the chair. He goes sit in the chair. Excuse me. And then this is where Inigo Montoya comes in the room, and he goes, and essentially is the backup that Wesley needed. Like Pratt region, he's dead. I can't remember this. Inigo stumbles in. Oh, so he goes to the chair. Buttercup ties him in the chair. Inigo stumbles in and offers to kill Humperdinck for this, at this reason. Because after obviously bluffing, he doesn't have the strength to stand. But no, Wesley wants him to live in his cowardice. Then they're like, where's Physic? Big guy. I don't know. Then we hear Physic in the background. Hello? Where you at? So look at the window. You see Physic. You see Physic with 4 white horses. Like, hello, look, I found the Prince stables with 4 white horses. With number 4, just in case we found the princess. Or found the girl. Oh, hi girl, or hi lady.
Hi, pretty lady.
And we go with the usual. They jump out the
window.
So the princess is the first one to jump out. Physics catches her. And at this point, Inigo was like, I got my revenge. I don't know what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. Since Wesley found his life, what happens is, so the name Dread Roberts Pirates, Dread Robert Roberts is just a name. I finally got to it. It's just a name because the first one is actually still is retired, and the name has just been passed down because otherwise piracy would be hard and you have to restart every time over. Like, you would make a wonderful Dread Pirate Roberts. And it looks like, yeah, I'm thinking about it. So then they all jump out, Physic catching each one, because, well, if you got a giant there, you're only going to drop like 5 feet before you get caught from almost anywhere. And then right off into the sunset. And this is where the book, where we come back to the grandpa and the son, like, right before the kissing. Because they're like, oh, well, no, don't end it just yet. What else happened? That was more. Oh, no, you don't like this part. Oh, come on. It's the kissing scene. So the last line of the book. Since the invention of the kiss, which we also painted down into the kiss, there have been 5 kisses rated the most passionate, most pure, This one left them all behind. And that's the end of the actual story. We come back to the grandfather, and the kid, and the grandfather gets up to walk away, and the grandson's like, "Can you come back and read it to me tomorrow?" The grandfather's like, "As you wish," and walks out the door.
It's
That's the
one
end
of
of
the
the
most
movie.
singular perfect movies ever.
I love that.
It's so well done. Now, if you actually do read the book, it ends with the kiss, and then you flip the page, and then the author's like, truly, that's not how it actually ends. Like, Inigo got stabbed in the stomach. He's gonna die. Like, no, there's no way he's surviving that. And yeah, so then he actually writes, like, the unhappily ever after. Because, like, the book is literally just as wackadoo as the movie. It's amazing. So,
I think this is where we kind of go into. Do you want to do facts, or do you want to do the review / rating / would you recommend it? And we can just talk for a little bit about nothing. Okay.
We did a lot of trivia during the recap.
Yeah, Bam did some trivia, but if you have any other trivia, you can go ahead and.
But up to you guys.
Alf, you were breaking up.
What was it?
Elf,
Daddy.
Hello?
Hey.
There you are. It was Fenris chewing on or sitting on your wires again.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
So what were you saying?
I was saying I don't have any specific trivia, but I could probably do some good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we did
most
a lot.
of the
Go ahead.
Most of the movie was filmed on location in England. The castle was a fortified country house, not an actual castle, but it is really good. It dates to before 1087. Let's see. There were no shrieking elves in the eels. No, there were no shrieking eels in the original novel. Instead, once Buttercup jumps overboard to escape her captors, Fizzik warns her of the sharks in the water and fills the cup with his own blood and throws it in the water to attract them.
There's a happy thought.
All right. Oh my gosh! So Liam Neeson auditioned to be Fizzik in the movie, which I think would be an interesting one. But Rob Reiner was like, "Oh, only 6'4", only 6'4". Like,
only 6'4".
So that's not tall enough. You didn't get an actual giant for it. Fulfilling.
They also wanted other people like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or Lou Ferrigno or Karel Stricken, but none of them worked. And Andre the Giant was their original desire, or Arnold Schwarzenegger back in the 70s when they first tried making the film, but then Arnold blew up, and the Worldwide Wrestling Foundation said that they couldn't get Andre the Giant because he had a match in Tokyo, but everything worked out because the Tokyo match was canceled and he had an opening in his schedule. So they were like, all right. That's fine.
So Andre the
Alright.
Giant needed. So Andre the Giant needed an ATV to get him to the shooting locations. Because them being so big. Once he
He had
reached the
a lot of back
size of what
pain.
Andre the Giant was, he
Wasn't
had
he
back
like
pain, so moving around wasn't that easy for him. So for this, he needed to get on an ATV to get to shooting locations. He was always trying to get Carrie Ellis to drive
Elwood.
it. Ellis eventually relented. Elwood, no,
I thought it was
Elwood? E-L
It's Elwes.
ELWES.
It's Elwes. Carrie Elwes.
not yours.
Nope. It's Elwes.
Ellis. Eventually relented, but on his first time driving it, he hit a patch of rocks as he was shifting gears, which caused his foot to slip from the clutch and eventually became wedged between the pedal and a rock. His left big toe was bent straight down and was broken, which he tried to conceal from director Rob Reiner. Eventually, he had to confess, and they worked shooting around his swollen toe and limp. He noticed it in the scene right before Buttercup pushes him down the hill. He sits down with his leg extended because he wasn't able to put weight on the foot. In the next scene, when he and Buttercup head into the fire swamp, he has a strange hop in his step.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, speaking of Carrie Elwes, originally they had wanted other people like Robert Redford, Norman Jewison, or Christopher Reeve to play Wesley in the 70s, but then as it got pushed to be the late 80s, they were like, okay, we need somebody else. Goldman, Brad, his first name. I know this, but what is it called? William Goldman. I thought Bill. Okay, cool. William Goldman was the author of the book, and he worked very closely with the producers and the casting directors to cast what they thought, and he helped with the direction and everything to make sure that it was very accurate to what he originally intended. And so he and Reiner went to Elwes, who was filming in Germany at the time. They actually flew out to Germany to be like, hey, do you want to do this part? And he was very interested because Elwes said that he had read the book as a child, always pictured himself as a Wesley character, but that they would never make a play or movie adaptation of the book, so he never thought that he would get the chance to play the part. But he did. So he was very interested in it, and did good. Robin Wright, on the other hand, they did not cast until a week before the filming started, and they had no idea. They were like, we don't have anyone to play Buttercup. They're like, there's nobody that we want to play Buttercup. Her agent saw the casting notice and eventually said, you need to go for this part. She showed up at Reiner's house, and they said there's an anecdote of her knocking on the door, them opening the door, and her just standing there with her long blonde hair and a white dress and being silhouetted by the sun behind her. And they were like, yep, that's Buttercup. So she didn't even have to read for anything, which is kind of funny.
Sometimes you just have the look.
Actually,
hey there, Sean.
So then, hey,
I'm back.
So then they actually had royalty on scene, on set. So Christopher Guest plays Count Rugen. He's actually in real life a baron, the fifth baron Hayden Guest of Saling in Essex in the peerage of the United Kingdom. So they actually had royalty on set, which is
that's so cool.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's a crazy fact. Did you know that I'm a baron as well?
No, we don't care about that.
No, I'm not.
I'm just kidding.
No, I'm not. I just thought I'd throw that in there.
One of the bits that makes me a lady, technically.
It is
So,
blazing hot in here.
Pieces of trivia. The fight choreography for Mandy Patinkin and Carrie Elwes, they actually used the same choreographer as Star Wars for the lightsaber fights. So the same sword fight choreographer is a guy named Bob Anderson, and a stunt choreographer named Peter Diamond. And so that's why the stunt choreography looks so good. The sword fights look so good. We mentioned during the earlier part of the show that they learned defense. Neither of them had any official sword training before doing this movie. So they went in and they learned how to fence with both hands because that's what their choreography called for. But they also learned each other's parts because with the stunt choreography, they said that that's the most accurate way to make it the sword fight look real.
Most realistic.
Because that way you can anticipate what they're doing, and it's like you're reacting to what they are without having to think about your own choreography. It's more like you can see how they're planned and made as a puzzle piece to put together. And then Andre the Giant, we talked about him having his major back surgery. But if you remember, if you guys have watched the film, that there are 2 scenes where he has to carry people. He carries Carrie Elwes during their fight scene, and then he carries Robin Wright at the end of the film. And while some of that was done by a stunt double, like we mentioned, other ones were done by a series of practical effects. So when he had to carry Elwes for the close-up shots, they couldn't use a stunt double because face, obviously, and they didn't necessarily have the technology to splice that. So he was on a series of ramps to be able to manipulate Carrie and make it look like he was carrying him, but it was just a series of different levels of ground so they could have that. And then for Robin Wright, they put her on cables and in a harness, so they were holding her weight while he just kind of held her, but not really held her. Just I find really cool.
Yeah, you had to make it work back in the day.
Oh yeah. Well, we were talking. This movie had a budget of $16 million. Well, what they did was actually pretty good. So, crap. I completely lost my train of thought.
You guys want to hear some trivia?
Oh.
Some random trivia? If I was where you guys are, I would be 40 years old already.
How was your birthday?
It is my birthday. Well, for you guys, it's my birthday. For me, it's not my birthday.
You're growing so much older.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
I shouldn't give Stealth more ammunition because he likes to talk about age a lot. But yeah,
right.
If I was there, wherever you guys are, I would be a year older already.
Happy birthday!
Thank you.
Oh. So this scene I liked. So during the Miracle Max scene, Miracle Max asserts that the love is the greatest thing in the world apart from a nice MLT. Mutton, lettuce, and tomato sandwich. Where the mutton is nice and lean and the tomatoes are ripe. In the book on which the movie was based, it was cough drops that were better thing than love. Not in MLT.
So then did they make it up?
I know.
On the fly?
Well, it's Billy Crystal, so
Billy Crystal riff a lot, I think.
So yes, the next piece of trivia is that Billy Crystal and Carol Kane spent a lot of time together before traveling to England to get their relationship to be husband and wife and be what their relationship actually could be with the comedic timing and everything. And they improv most of their lines.
Yeah. Well, it's also the fact that those two were only there for like that one scene. So it's like that scene, as long as they got the point of where true love, let's get the potion and shake down a dead body for this coinage, that's pretty much the only things they needed to hit. Other than that, they could have ripped the entire thing. It still got the point across. So while Andre the Giant was working around, they actually had on the scenes, it was director Robert Wright and someone else. They actually spoke the lines for him, for Andre, and Andre was walking around with headphones in, listening to the scene, and so he could say his lines.
That's interesting.
So I have 2 more pieces of trivia. The first is that the soundtrack was written or created by Dire Straits.
Mark Knopfler.
Mm-hmm. Which I always think is interesting because when you think of the Princess Bride and you think of Dire Straits, you don't necessarily think that they're the same.
Yeah.
Art is art.
Yeah, but so yeah, he did it to create the quirky soundtrack that would fit such a movie,
Mm-hmm.
which is a fun fact. And then the second, and I think it's my final fact, is that the Princess, and talking about the Princess Bride, the 30th anniversary, I believe, Rob Reiner, Billy
20th.
Crystal, and somebody else, I forget. They got interviewed. Who was it? Robin Wright. So they got interviewed, and one of the stories that they told was that the Princess Bride saved people's lives. And they're like, "What?" And they're like, "No, we're not kidding." They were having lunch one day in LA, and they were talking about the Princess Bride, and a woman overheard them and came up to them and said, "Hey, I'm an extreme skier. We got caught in an avalanche, and I literally recounted the entire script of The Princess Bride from start to finish to keep the people that I was trapped with awake and conscious, so we can get rescued." And
Wow.
so that kept us warm and awake.
Nice.
Yep. So I
Talking
was like,
about
and that,
random trivia.
She
But,
is
like,
the
that was-
treasure
I mean, it's
trove of
relevant.
trivia.
Right, the treasure trove.
they said that was the best compliment they'd ever gotten about the movie, is the fact that their movie actually saved someone's life.
Okay.
I'm looking over there.
So yes, I do have random trivia facts.
I mean, that was real random though. Like that wasn't like that on a scale of random, like 1 to 6. I'm gonna use a random
That was
number, right?
chartreuse.
That would probably be like a 5.5.
No, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the biggest, that was chartreuse.
Chartreuse.
Chartreuse just pachoo, right off the wall.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
How was the movie? Was it great? I mean, was it good? I mean, did you guys love
You were
it?
supposed to
Did you watch it?
too?
I've watched it before. I told you guys that, and I rewatched it.
Oh, good.
But like,
Well,
it was
okay. So one thing. So let's go back to the very beginning. And Sean, what was your first experience with this movie? Because we all mentioned that.
Oh, it was years ago. And I want to say because I had started seeing those memes about Inigo Montoya, and like all on Facebook, right? And this is again maybe like 5 years ago, and I didn't get the reference, but you see the picture and you're just like, what the hell is this? And so anyway, that's when I first watched it. And I watched it in pieces, and I was like, okay, what's this? What's this? What's this? This time around, I had to take 2 days to watch it. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those quirky films where you're just like, is it a blockbuster? No, it's definitely like cult classic. It definitely is like timeless practically. And, if people like reference it years down the road, people are going to know it. Or they're like me, I did not know what it was. And I'm like, it's interesting enough to go ahead and try to figure out what it is. So yeah, that was the first time, maybe like 5 years ago when I watched it.
It's like we were saying, like this is one movie like you have to sit through it. You cannot get bits and pieces, otherwise you'll never get the movie. But
yeah, if you just watch scenes, it doesn't really. I mean, it's funny, but it doesn't really make sense,
Right.
and you don't get the emotional impact unless you watch it from start to finish.
Right. And like it also going off topic, like I'm pretty sure you guys have the whole episode. There was like that scene
Pretty well.
with the Rocketeer.
actually, we kept on.
Like there was like that scene where they were trying to do a scene out of this movie in that movie, which I thought was pretty interesting. And that movie always reminds me, the Rocketeer always reminds me of this movie because of the scenes they had did in that movie.
Yeah, I
We
can see
actually
that.
kept on topic pretty well.
Well, I mean,
It took us a while to get started, but once we got started, we stayed on top.
right. Well, I mean, I got to watch the VOD anyway, so I mean, I'm pretty sure I'll figure it out and probably laugh because you guys are hilarious.
Hey, Jack.
So I lied about my last piece of trivia because
Oh no.
I finished reading this article, so I was like, okay, I'll
Let me vet the source.
It says, though Patinkin wasn't injured in the duel, he had noted that he might have cracked a rib trying to hold in the laughs during Crystal's mad ad-libbing as the ancient Miracle Max, whom Inigo and Fezzik take Wesley to after he's killed by Humperdinck. And it says, even Reiner had to walk away from shooting because he couldn't stop laughing, especially when Crystal said true love is the greatest thing in the world, except for a nice MLT. And it's like, Crystal said that he and Kane had to report to work at 2 a.m. to begin the makeup process that they had, and they shot their scenes in just 3 days.
Oh,
Also, it was Fred
Oh, is
Savage's
it
first.
who?
Do what?
It was Fred Savage's first international flight when he went to because it was filmed in England.
filmed on set.
On location.
Yeah.
Was it the albino? He used his makeup artist from. Right, crap. He used his makeup artist from wherever he's in. I totally saw that. It was awesome. Oh, but I think we're at the point of ratings and offerings. I give it an 8. I give it a 9 actually. I really like it. It's funny. I'm only reason I give it a 9. Like I said, you have to watch it from getting in. You cannot walk in and out. You have to sit down and watch it. And a lot of people nowadays don't have the time to actually sit down and watch something like that. Otherwise, you're gonna be lost as hell. But yes, I would recommend it. And at some point, we'll show my daughter it. And potions.
I'd give it a 10. I mean, I do have a lot of nostalgia for it, which helps me remember it fondly, but it definitely holds up to test of time and whatnot, and it is fucking funny. There's everything in it. There's pirates, there's sword fighting, there's true love, there's poison, there's plot, there's intrigue. Just a really good movie. And it's infinitely
Elf
quotable.
Daddy.
Like the entire thing you can quote.
Yes. Elf Daddy, your thoughts?
Honestly, I love it. It's funny. It's emotional at times. It's entertaining. Yeah. Overall, it slaps.
Crimson.
I was like, or we could do Sean, but yeah, sure.
Either or.
Yeah, I definitely like it. I think I'd give it the same around a 9 because if you just pick it up midway, you're definitely going to be confused. You're definitely going to be like, what the fuck am I watching? But the acting is fantastic. I like that it has Andre the Giant in it because it's like his only serious role. And so I liked seeing him on a movie set before he had to pass away. So I was like, that's really nice. I think the acting is fantastic. The special effects aren't good, but it holds up for what it is. It's a decent adaptation of the book.
They're supposed to be campy.
Yeah, you can tell a lot
of
love.
$2 million budget.
I know. You can tell a lot of love and care went into it. And it's a family-friendly film, so it's definitely something that, even though if I have kids, I'll make my kids watch it, they'll be like, what the hell is this? But, it's
conceivable.
Ultimately, it has really good quotable lines. It's really fun. And it is family-friendly because, as they said, it's the Mormons' favorite film. They swear that every Mormon in the state of Utah has this film because it's good, clean fun.
Okay. So yeah, I would probably give it an 8. It wasn't my favorite. You guys rated it higher than I did, because I really did watch it in sets, and a lot of the stuff is very relatable. Like, so many different people could relate to the movie just because of how funny it is. You know, people love Andre the Giant. You know, people, like love the whole cast. And it was funny because when you guys were talking about, like I was popping in and out, like just to kind of see where you guys were. When you're talking about Andre the Giant, oh well, we'll see you in a second, Potions.
I'll be back.
There she is. Um, but yeah, to kind of talk to him about like all the back injuries that he had, and the hard time that he had getting around set was really interesting. Um, I mean, I remember when Hulk Hogan body slammed that dude, like in the first WrestleMania. So just to think about that mask getting lifted and getting slammed down, like that was crazy. So yeah, I would give it an 8. It's definitely a good watch. It's definitely like cult classic ish. It's not a blockbuster, and I guess even at the time, it wasn't a blockbuster. Um, but I would say I
It
would
made
like to
30
see.
million.
I would like to see it. I would like to see a remake. Like if they did a remake for it, I would most likely go see it just to kind of give it a little fresh little see what they could do with it, Maybe put Arnold in there like they originally wanted. Maybe he's cheaper now. Who knows? Maybe they get a bigger budget.
It will
Not
lose some of the
Arnold.
charm, though. I mean, why would you try to improve upon perfection?
See, because I'm just gonna no comment. You're right. You gave it a 10, so I'm like.
So in the 2000s, they were trying to do a musical of this movie, The Princess Bride, the musical, which I can see it will still keep the campiness of it, but it won't be like the movie campiness of what it was. Now a modern day remake of it, yeah, you can update the ROUs, you can update the fire swamp a little bit. You can make magic happen on the screen from the miracle pill, but other than that, you're like, no. Yes.
I mean, to me, I think if they tried to update the graphics and do like CGI rats of unusual size, it would lose the tongue-in-cheekness of it. Like, it's a film that it doesn't take itself seriously as much as it does. And if you try to take it too seriously, it's just not going to work. And if you cheese it up way too much, it also is just going to fall flat.
So you guys are telling me you don't want to see a remake of this movie. That's what you're saying.
I don't want a remake.
No.
Because it strikes the perfect balance, and if you tip one way or the other too far, it's going to lose any all feel that makes the current version of it so awesome.
I mean, it's 80s camp, right? Rob Reiner did the Spinal Tap. It's the same kind of concept. So.
And if they did a remake, I want to see Billy Crystal again as a Miracle Man. Yeah, they can get him, but it's not going to be the same as he was back in the 80s.
Is he still alive?
Yes, he is.
Billy Crystal?
I jest. Come on, guys.
I'm not so sure about that. Is it really a jest? Is it really?
I'm just trying to throw a little curveball for you guys.
See if we're all still awake.
I'm telling you.
So for the next episode, apparently it's been chosen that Crimson is going to pick the next episode.
Oh, Crimson, did you know that?
Yeah.
That face seems like it says, oh shit.
I just found out because I just looked at it and found out.
So did I.
No, that's fine. I knew what I was going to do regardless. So, because we've done 4 people, and 4 movies.
Make it up.
So, I'm going to do Scaled and Icy.
What?
I just got my copy in the mail today. Oh my god, I'm so happy. Let's do this.
Yep.
What is it?
The new 21 Pilots album.
It's so good.
Okay.
Nice.
Hey.
I got Apple iTunes, so we're good.
So you're all good. Yeah, Apple Music. A lot of it's on YouTube for their on their YouTube channel. So Scaled and Icy is the 6th studio album. Well, studio, not record label album, because the first 2 weren't produced with a record label.
All of them yet, but I know most of the lyrics already.
Nice. But yeah, I love me some 21 Pilots, and they just got out a new album, so I figured why not? We can review Scaled and Icy.
Scaled and Icy.
So as always,
okay, add that to my library.
Yeah, I'll do that later. My daughter's on the phone.
Okay. So we wrapping it up?
So as always.
Yes.
Yeah, we need to do the conclusion.
Oh, yeah, go. Yeah. We got After Dark to do still. I'm just kidding. But
everybody's tired. I can see it in everybody's eyes.
I was gonna say it is almost 1:30 in the morning here, which means it is almost 2:30 for Crimson, and
that's
yeah.
it. Bam.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sean, unless you have some trivia you want to throw out for the movie itself, we're done.
Okay. No, let's wrap it up. Crimson, you gonna wrap this one up? I heard you did the intro.
I did the creepy intro. Okay, so so that was our review of 1987 Rob Reiner's version of The Princess Bride, based off of William Goldsman's novel of the same name. We hope you enjoyed it. You can find this on YouTube along with every other one of our Shadowpact Squares reviews from Season 1, and we are almost done with Season 2. We are part of Shadowpact Gaming, which is a content creation group worldwide. We have people from all over the world, and we produce a variety of content from streaming to YouTube videos to merchandise. So it's all good. Speaking of merchandise, if you want to check out what we have for Shadowpact Gaming or for each of our individual content creators, you can go to our website, which is shadowpackgaming.com. There you will find links to each of our streamers. Most of them have a YouTube intro video. You're missing a few. Potions, Sean. And YouTube. From there, you can find links to all of Shadowpack's social media, all of our different links and profiles on each one of our individual content creators. You can find us on social media. So we have our Twitter, which is Shadowpack Gaming without the G, so Shadowpack Gaming. Same as our Twitch. Yeah, we're missing the G. Yay! That you see us posting, going lives. You'll see us posting different events that different content creators have going on, and you can also get to see, just the different happenings that we have for our team. Speaking of team, we also have a public Discord. It's called the Tavern. You can click on the link in chat, and that will bring you to the Tavern Discord, which is our public-facing group. If you want to hang out with us there, that's where we get up to all sorts of shenanigans, have all sorts of cool things, and that's where you can get to know us a little better, because almost all of us hang out a lot on Discord. Another social media site we are on is Instagram, so we do have Shadowpack Gaming on Instagram. And then we are partnered with Gamerized. Gamerized is an up-and-coming social media platform created by gamers for gamers. They just revamped their music and their video hosting website. They fully funded their Kickstarter for their mobile app, which I'm super excited about. So they're definitely up-and-coming. They definitely have a lot of cool things around the corner, and so we are definitely taking that over, having some good times there, and we would love to see you there. If you use our affiliate link to sign up for their pro accounts, we'll get a little kickback from that, so we would appreciate that, but absolutely no pressure. So that's us for the team. So if you have any thoughts or concerns, comments, or questions, you can also reach out to each of us individually. So PotionsMaster, how will they find you?
They can do an internet search, and I'll be very interested to know what they find. However, on social media, you can find me on Twitter, on Twitch, and at Facebook with PotionsMaster66. Also Gamerized. Facebook, you can also search Enter the Cauldron. And then if you want to screech at me on Discord, it is PotionsMaster, all one word, all lowercase. Yep, that's it.
How about yourself, Dad? Bless you.
On Gamerized, Instagram, Twitch, I am StealthDad with a 3 instead of an E. On Twitter, I am StealthDad1, and that's where you can find me. And also, did you know that apparently you can find PotionsMaster 66 on
What?
Pinterest? Yeah.
You found my Pinterest? That's not part of my gaming persona. Fuck you, dude. Did you actually do a Google search? Well, if you want to find me on Pinterest and see my Susie Homemaker board or like my aesthetic boards for my multiple shepherds, then go for it. I feel called out.
Very much so.
Elf Daddy, where can we find you, dude?
I'm on Tumblr. I'll get back to you on that one. I'm on.
Where's your list, Elf? Where's the list?
I still have not written it.
One job. One job.
Twitter, Yuki Rutherford on Gamerized.
Thank you.
ElfDaddy ___
Elf
over on
___
Twitch.
Daddy on Twitch.
Also, YukiOG1 on Twitter.
Elf Daddy TTV on Instagram.
This is classic.
What's your Pinterest? Because I'm not over that.
Tell you, but I don't even remember what my Pinterest is.
Mine is either. I can't remember what my Pinterest is. All right, so Elf Daddy, we got you at Yuki Rutherford on Gamerized. We got you at Elf __ Daddy on Twitch. Elf Daddy TTV on Instagram. And what's your Twitter?
YukiOG1.
YukiOG1 on Twitter. Perfect. All right, Sean, what we got?
You can find me on Twitter mostly at SeanFlac. Just spell it like it sounds with a C at the end. I don't stream on my Twitch channel, so you can actually find me here. This is where I'm streaming with you guys. So shadowpackgaming.com or shadowpack.twitch.com/shadowpackgaming without the G. You can find me on Facebook and YouTube as well. Just look up SeanFlac or SeanFlac 2.0, and also I'm on Instagram as well. So that's where you can find me. Oh, I'm on Gamerized too.
It's just Pinterest.
I might have a Pinterest. Like I get emails from them, so maybe you guys should look that up. Maybe I am on Pinterest.
I want to see what my Pinterest is.
I was gonna say, let me look it up. I'm pretty certain I found it.
Okay, you have me. I know that, but where
You guys are
is my?
funny.
So
Is my phone just my name?
this is the end of the show. SeanFlac, I think we're good to go.
We're good to
I have to
go.
tell great stuff.
You
Yeah.
gotta let Crimson speak.
What else do you have? You went to Pinterest.
I'm Caitlin. I'm Crimson Shield Scholar. You can find me on Twitch on mainly Tuesdays and Wednesdays at twitch.tv/Crimson Shield Scholar. You can find me on Sundays, no longer Fridays at the moment, on twitch.tv/RepRPG for my sister site. You can find me on Twitter at Crimson S Scholar. You can find me on Instagram at Crimson Shield Scholar. Discord, I'm Caitlin W, and Gamerized, I am Crimson Shield Scholar. And then you can find me on Pinterest at Caitlin Listen.
Oh, you're gonna make everybody look up their Pinterest and be like, "Oh, you can find me also on
Oh,
Pinterest."
Dad, seriously. Jesus
I
Christ.
don't have anything on my Pinterest, but if you want to look at my random,
Your cool things board has a whole 2 pins
I
on
want
it.
to know what your recipes.com login is.
I've seen
Oh,
37
shit.
pins. Totally. Everything else is. Oh no, Annalise's is public. I say everything
Yeah.
else is private. So
Let
yeah.
me go look through all the websites I've logged into ever, and we'll go from there. I have a list for you maybe in 10 years.
Right.
You can Google my first name and last name and see what I do for work. It's not exciting. So
It's the same here. Okay, are we at the end of the show?
we are.
We are at the end of the show. Let's see here. What did we break a record? We're under 3 hours. All right, 2 hours,
We're under
47
3.
minutes. Oh my god, this is good. This is good. Okay. So we took
I
care
think
of all
about
business.
I think about 20 minutes of that. I think 27 minutes of that was pre-show, just us talking.
I think I
stories.
marked it at 32
That's
minutes. So, but
Yeah.
still.
That sounds about right.
Right. Okay, so obviously, guys, thank you for joining. It's always a pleasure. Unfortunately, I wasn't here because I was doing some birthday prep stuff and things like that. So, anyways, I do appreciate you guys carrying me. Hope you guys didn't skip leg day this week. So I appreciate the carry on today's show. Again, Caitlin did a great job. The Crimson did a great job with our business, and I looked and saw it in the beginning. So thank you, Caitlin, for doing all that. And I think that's going to be it for today's episode. Till the next episode. Do I need to count this down? Do I need to count this down,
Stay
guys?
sharp.
We're not gonna get it anyways.
3, 2, 1. Stay sharp.
Stay sharp.